Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's go live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Bo the Boys with you for the next three. Pretty loaded up for you. Jake Trotter going to join us at 10:30 as is customary. Hey, guys. It is a Hey Guys First Friday. Get those questions into the fellas at 971-BFS. Also on the YouTube chat, we will go over that coming up at 11 o'clock. Brooke Pryor, been wanting to have her on. She is the best in the business on the Steelers beat, and we're going to get some insight on Will Howard and what that approach can look like, Jack Sawyer and what that could look like over in the Steel City. But I'm also going to float my theory on Aaron Rodgers to her. We will give her no prep that I'm floating my theory to her, and just her live reaction you'll have, and you'll get that at 11:30. It is officially endorsed season as well. Tomorrow is the first day of May, kids. It's pretty wild that's where we are already. All right, I have a programming content decision to make here. There is a second coyote incident in the neighborhood. I could tell the story now, or a loyal listener, Bob, has sent me the information of an urban coyote expert, and I'm efforting, who's a professor at Ohio State, and I'm efforting getting him on. And so my hunch is to hold it, because I think it would buttress better with the expert, so I don't have to. We'll just tell it once, and then we'll get the expert and we'll have a little chat about urban coyotes. That's my content lean right now. Go ahead. Where should
hesitation is if it takes too long for a response. Like if we're waiting a couple days, and if the story's not as fresh, or if nothing happens from that. Or we get another 100 persons versus a gorilla story that just takes precedent.
Did you guys see the one that was the guy tagged us in one of like a scientist guy who broke it down and went, the 100 men stand no chance. Like he went through all of it.
That's disappointing.
Like you could not pierce. It's very disappointing.
I spent way too much time just reading different scenarios.
You could not pierce
and in none of them, like this is the Doctor Strange thing where he did the scenario a million times. We got zero shot of this.
Listen, until that scientist does a study on Schlegs, it's all baloney to me.
Yeah, Schlegs is the ape. He would be the type of person. But the other thing is, I think all men kind of took it from the perspective of, if there's 100 Schlegs, like he even said something to the effect of, I only need one to survive.
Which,
he's willing to sacrifice 99 Schlegs for one to survive. Is his hope. Zagura was trying to tell me that he was going to put like teams of 10 men on each limb was his plan. And the scientist was like, you're not going to get close. Like one swat from the gorilla is going to crush your skulls. He's going to rip off your limbs. Like you'd have to have like AI generated human, which we're not far off. It doesn't seem from that, by the way. And while we're on the subject of this, I'm getting fed this stuff. I don't know if it's the For You on the X platform or what, but the amount of ChatGPT, AI, artificial intelligence. I had Bill Gates over the weekend warning me that in 20 years we're not going to need humans. Like, does anybody find this problematic? Like, maybe we ought to get in front of this now. Like, okay, we can identify. They can do a lot really quickly. It feels like as the humans in this scenario, we should shut this down. What is the net gain here?
I think it's too late for that. We've already given these like robot dogs guns. So it feels like we're just teetering towards oblivion.
Did no one watch a movie in the 80s or 90s? Did you not see Terminator?
That's the problem, Bo, was the movies. Gave everybody ideas. Now we're trying this stuff.
This is like Jurassic Park.
It's coming.
Like maybe this wasn't a good idea. Like, shut it down.
Didn't they just try to bring back the woolly mammoth or something?
Dire wolves.
Wait, did a dire wolf too? Oh, we're going to bring back why stop there? T-Rex is roaming the planet. What are we doing? Like, we've got it okay now. Like, what do we... Yeah, the artificial intelligence thing freaks me out significantly. So I'm very, very concerned about that. All right, so the judgment on the Coyote, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to give it 24. It's pretty wild, and it is videos attached. So I also have to get permission from the neighborhood because I would want you guys all to see it.
Oh, that is a very important caveat. Like, let's get the video. We can post it on our social media at 971BFS and then give listeners, viewers time to understand that important context.
Yeah, because you're going to have to make a delineation on coyote intent. That's the other reason I want the coyote expert ready, because you're going to have to try to determine coyote intent. And it's... Now, I don't know. Can we share video from a private residence Ring camera? With their permission, I suppose we could.
With their permission, and I think editing can be done to remove any important numbers or signage.
All right. I'll ask.
This is like the
Dr.
ultimate tease.
So
here.
if we put it through the car wash, we can make it on the other side.
Okay.
Available for our listeners.
Okay. All right. So that's. I'll talk to Dr. G. We'll see if we can get permission to use the video. His wife shared it in our neighborhood watch, so we'll see. But my wife yesterday, she's on 50,000 of these. You guys on these group text chains? I mean, we have one for the show, but
I try as much as possible to avoid them.
I don't know how anybody thinks it's efficient. I don't understand it. Like, her phone just dings all day long. When you put 30 people on a group text chain and you say, let's say it's for youth sports, and you say, hey, practice has changed from 6 to 5:30. This is my piece of advice for anybody on a group text chain. You don't have to thumbs up it. Just read it, and that's it. Like, you don't worry about them. Everyone's getting everybody. That's the other thing. Everyone's getting everybody's text messages now. This isn't like 1998 with the Zach Morris phones and did you get my message? No. Everybody's getting everything. Unless you're in some sort of a weird, because I think it's Bake. You still will not do Apple, right? So you're still the reason we're green.
Yeah, refuse.
It's a shame. You need to talk to Dom about that. That he'd get you on, because he was like you. He held off for the longest time, and then he came to the good side, the dark side, I suppose, from your perspective, and it all changed for him. His whole life got better.
I will tell you this: I'm pretty damn stubborn, Bo, and also. Yeah. My last phone, maybe you could have talked me into it. I like this phone a lot, so it's stay until it dies.
Who even manufactures it?
This one's a Motorola, I believe.
Wow, Motorola.
Is it a Razor?
That'd be great. They brought those back, I believe.
Razors were pretty money, dude.
Razors
were pretty money.
Nothing will ever beat, though, the yellow and black construction model Nextel flip phone. That was prime cell phone age.
There was a time before Apple fully took over where Palm had a series of phones that were supposed to be kind of where it was at.
Yeah.
They had some.
Similar to the BlackBerry. I love the BlackBerries.
The BlackBerry I could not handle. I hated them the whole way. I didn't understand the little tiny pencil. You were like, what was his name, Magato?
Now, my BlackBerries never had a pencil.
With the tiny little pencil, and you would do that. Yeah, I was never a BlackBerry guy. There's a great documentary on how BlackBerry owned this industry and then lost all of it.
So, friend of the program, Chris Fedor, when I worked with him in Cleveland, he was one of the last BlackBerry holdouts because he liked the physical keyboard. Like, that was the appeal amongst the BlackBerry holdouts.
Same.
Like, the people who were like, held on to it until it stopped giving you software updates. Like, I just like having that physical keyboard, because the digital keyboard took a little bit of time to just get fully used to.
I'm pretty sure I still have 2 old BlackBerries in a drawer at home somewhere. Which means I need to get rid of stuff more often.
Do you guys text with your thumbs or with your, how do you text? Like, if you're to text,
thumbs.
Long text.
Yeah,
thumbs?
thumb.
Because some of these phones, because I'm Kenny Pickett over here with the small hands. Like, sometimes
wear 2 gloves.
If I've got, right, I guess I could.
That's all you need.
If I get a phone that's too big, then I'd have to use it. But the phone I have currently with still the physical button, I use thumbs.
My wife is a pointer. I can't. It's the most inefficient. Thank God she doesn't know the show. She thinks the show doesn't start till 10. I watch her text with a point, like this. I go. It's like a chicken would peck. Like that's how she texts. I go. Can you just hand it to me and I'll text for you?
She looks like my dad
twice as fast.
Typing on a computer.
Like that. Oh, so that's the other thing with the old folks. Now what they're doing is they just speak the text, voice text. You want to talk about a disaster. Be in the car with a 70-year-old as they're driving the car and trying to voice text someone. That's living. That was my father-in-law, spring break. He's driving the vehicle. Me and the boys are in it. We're trying to go to In-N-Out, suck down some burgers, and he's trying to voice text while he's driving. And is the voice text working? No, because there's ambient noise everywhere. So it's not picking everything up. The kids are in the background. He's yelling at them to be quiet because the voice text is picking up what they say. Brutal on all fronts. All right, so I guess the conclusion here is Coyote's story. We're going to hold it for a day. I need permission for the video, and then we got to get this expert on. That's because I've never seen anything quite like the behavior of this Coyote. So we'll get into all of that. We had a busy night on the playoff side of things. By the way, the NBA playoffs are rating. You are turning in. I think there's a lot of factors that lead into that, and I think some of them could be finite factors. But for the first round, they've been really, really good. We will get into all that happened last night on the hardwood, on the ice. Ryan Day spoke. So we'll hear what he had to say about the quarterback competition, about the culture at Ohio State, what they're looking for in recruits. We'll have some fun with that as the program goes along as well. And, of course, it is a Hey Guys First Friday. We're off and running. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Wake up with The Fan. Eat lunch with The Fan. Go to bed with The Fan. Dream about The Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling. 1-800-COOLING.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here with a challenge. Well, a challenge might not be the best choice of words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, doesn't it? 40 by the 4th. Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th of July? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the 260 number be a little nicer on your eyes and on your knees? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in just 8 weeks. There's no reason you can't drop 40 by the 4th and be feeling as great as I still do now. Ring Independence Day in, healthy, confident, and most important, feeling happy. You reached your goal with the help of Awaken 180. So fire up your grill and grab your beverage of choice because the weight's staying off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and reach it. Reserve your consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off of closing costs. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-THIRD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, and AI? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Fish has been named the third best sports program director in the country. The two dudes who finished ahead of him are dead. So we're declaring him the winner. You're listening to the home of champions, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Have you ever told a friend?
Oh, I'm fine.
When you really felt?
Just so overwhelmed.
Or sent a text?
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
When you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting, just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move, a pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognized the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast. Betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A mostly quiet Wednesday after a stormy Tuesday as we head through today. Temperatures begin in the 40s and 50s this morning and make their way to the 70s this afternoon with plenty of sunshine. We could see a stray shower push through, but that would be about it. Unfortunately, though, more strong storms return as we head into Thursday. That's going to prompt another 10 TV Weather Impact Alert Day, so make sure you're staying weather aware. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Here's a quick 10-second reminder that the Buckeyes have won the Natty. Also, we air all the games, and we always will. Thank you. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
It's one of the most deflating things that happens regularly in my life. And it is when I walk into an airport with a family, typically before the sun has come up, and I see the security lines, and I look at the monitors, and I see the flight delays. And I say to my wife, what are we doing putting our time, which is a commodity you can't get more of, in the hands of these people? Well, that's where my friends at RCD RV come in, because you can travel on your terms. Go RVing. Get ready to save. RCD's RV Open House. It's May 3rd through the 10th. That's this weekend, kids. Take advantage. Huge deals, new pre-owned RVs. Delaware, Heath, Pataskala locations feature exclusive sales pricing on all new pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Get out there. They're going to have you road ready by Memorial Day. There is time to avoid all the negatives of traveled flight. There are. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com. Tell them both sent you. They'll take care of you. They're my guys. All right. I had this. We'll get to the stuff. So I saw that this is the summer movie lineup. This is this summer's summer movie lineup. All right. In terms of blockbusters. Right. So this weekend, Thunderbolts. That's a Marvel movie, I think. May 16th, Final Destination. May 23rd, Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch. June 6th, John Wick. June 20th, 28 days later. The 27th, F1 and Megan 2.0. July 2nd, Jurassic World Rebirth. July 11th, Superman. July 18th, I know what you did last summer. July 25th, Fantastic Four. What is the common denominator with all but I believe two of those titles?
They are not original.
Nailed it. The only thing I think is original is the F1 movie, which is the Brad Pitt movie. And I don't know what Megan 2.0 is. All the rest of those have been done.
Oh, I think there's a Megan. It's about like a murder bot or murder doll.
Oh, is there one already?
Which happened because of the Chucky movies. So.
Oh, my God.
Just playing the hits.
Original.
Yeah.
Nobody has any original ideas. We're just going to run it back.
Did I miss Happy Gilmore 2 in there?
I didn't see it. That one's pretty.
Come on.
I saw this
Maybe
morning.
Maybe because that's just Netflix?
No, that's got to be.
I'm pretty sure it's just Netflix.
It's not a theater release?
I don't believe so. I believe it's a Netflix.
Does Netflix do that? Do any of their movies go to theaters too? They do, right? Like
some might, but no, Happy Gilmore 2 will be exclusive to Netflix this summer.
Do you think that hits?
Absolutely.
I thought they would hit on Axel F., the Beverly Hills Cop reboot. It was a fun nostalgia spin, but I don't know that it was.
They've got at least in the run-up to it, because I'm looking here July 25th for Happy Gilmore 2 on Netflix. You've got to push Happy Gilmore as much as possible every day on the front page of Netflix. Like everybody's Netflix, you get wrestling, you get whatever they're interested in, like the Real Housewives of whichever city now, and then Happy Gilmore, the original. So you can kind of lead up to that, and every other thing you do is, hey, have you heard Happy Gilmore? Because now they do advertisements. Sure. So every other advertisement needs to have Happy Gilmore as something.
Beamsy asked me, this was probably a month ago, he's like, Dad, can we, my friends all said Happy Gilmore's great. Can we watch it? Yep, absolutely. Come on into the office, son. Grab a chair. Let's watch. He loved it, and it held up really well. It's really good. Now, I like Madison better. I like Billy Madison a little bit better. But they were both pretty great. And that, to me, was Apex Sandler. I don't know that there's been anything better since. I don't know anything that he's done since is in the vicinity of those two, right?
I don't think so. I mean, those are both classics. I'm with you. Madison a little ahead of Happy Gilmore. But, man, what a time.
Yeah, time to be alive. Rich actually on social tells me, he's put a picture of us talking about the BlackBerry. He has a BlackBerry that he uses. I said, good job out of you. I said, that's a choice. Sits on his desk for all the kids at my office to look at and tell me how old I am. That'll happen, certainly.
Sounds like Rich needs to clean out the junk drawer just like myself.
It's time, buddy. We've had, I'll tell you what's been really interesting is you had last weekend the NFL draft, and you had big ratings for all of it. 14 million on Thursday. I think it was 7.5 on Friday and 5.5 on Saturday. And the NBA playoffs rated really well as well. I think there's some factors in it. You've got some pretty glamorous teams in the Knicks and the Celtics and the Lakers, and those guys are in it. The Warriors, obviously, all of those teams in the mix. I think the Lakers-Timberwolves series, which feels like a Western Conference final, is definitely having a big part in what you're seeing on that side. But you also have established teams that have been good for a while, like the Nuggets, who have won a championship, the Cavaliers, who have been near the top of the sport for the last couple of years and had the best record in the NBA and have a very big following, and teams like the Bucks. So all of these teams, I think, are contributing what has been a really nice kind of week for the NBA as they've kicked off their playoffs. The Cavs series didn't have a lot to it. So it was one of those ones where the boys were locked in and they had it on, but the games were so definitively in their favor that it wasn't going very far, especially that last one. We did get the dates on the Eastern Conference semifinal. Game 1 will be Sunday. That will be up in Cleveland between the Pacers and the Cavs. So we talked about this a little bit yesterday in terms of when the Cavs kind of touch stone here and in Central Ohio. And my hunch would be that you're going to start to see some engagement in the Eastern Conference semifinal. Weather will be depending. If we have a great string of weather, then it'll be less. But if the weather's a little dicey, you're going to see a little bit of a bump there. But then I think you'll see a big bump if you get Celtics Cavs in the Eastern Conference final. I think you're going to get a big bump. And then if they get to the finals, then I think you're going to have complete buy-in on that side of things. So that's kind of the things to kind of pay attention to there. But this has been a nice win for them, and they've taken a lot of slings and arrows through the last few years from their rating standpoint. But I saw over the weekend it was 7.5 million was kind of where they were at with the Lakers and the Timberwolves. So that's a win for the association. I have not seen how the NHL stuff is rating across different platforms, but the NBA's had a nice week here to start it all off. And I think the play kind of warrants it. It's been good ball.
Yeah, the games with some of the bigger stars have been compelling matchups. And even out west, when it's kind of a later time, people will still wake up and see, wait, what did Draymond do? Or wait, what happened in this game? Or, in the Eastern Conference, I know it was a little scuttlebutt with Giannis and Tyrese Halliburton's dad last night. And so I think the more intriguing stuff kind of happens after the whistle or off of the court, as is kind of the case in the NBA, who now wants, or media covering the NBA on a daily basis, want Giannis to go to a place not called Milwaukee. But it also
like he wants that, Reese.
It feels like it's trending in that direction. Certainly,
it feels like LeBron when he left the first time to me. It does.
It was a sense of doom and gloom with Bucks fans, at least online last night. But the NBA will win big by having all its final games on ABC and ESPN.
Yeah. They're going to lose a little bit because the Lakers aren't getting out of this round.
No, but
so that's going to hurt because obviously the glamour is there for them. Giannis is 30. Go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick on your on the NHL ratings, they are not good right now. They are down 27% from last year, not even averaging a million viewers here. So that's a little disappointing, I would think, for the NHL on the heels of the Four Nation. I think they would have hoped they could have capitalized on that a little more.
Yeah, that's stunning numbers to be down 20-some%. That ain't good. And they have the ESPN push of it too, so that's really disappointing.
It is up in Canada, and I'm guessing a big part of that is you've got the Canadians playing Ovechkin, and then Toronto and Ottawa, obviously. But U.S. viewership not so good.
You got Edmonton. I mean, how many Canadian teams you got in it? Edmonton's obviously in it. Winnipeg's in it, and Winnipeg's a threat. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, Leafs and Jets are the 1 seeds. That's pretty good. And then you got the Canadiens. Obviously, the Leafs are playing the Senators, so that helps. And then the Kings and the Oilers. Edmonton was down early in that series, but they're now up 3-2. So, I think that certainly makes sense from that side of things. You're right on the thing with Giannis. So he had agreed to a 3-year contract extension worth $175. He's got 2 years left on that deal on a player option after 26-27. So I guess the thinking would be, from the Bucks standpoint, do you get out from under him while he has value? He's 30 years of age. He averaged 30 and 11 last year. Still one of the preeminent superstars in the sport, but it also feels like Milwaukee's window is closed. So if you're Milwaukee, do you get out of this deal before it's too late and you can't get anything in return? That's always a tough sports fan conversation. That's one you'd have to ask folks in Milwaukee how they feel about that, because it's a little bit like what happened it's not quite there, but it's a little bit like what happened at the end with Kobe and the Lakers, where, he's playing out the string and just playing meaningless games, but they were never going to trade him. Like, they just wanted him to be a Laker for life. And so that's one of those things where it's just kind of up to the individual fan base how all that plays out.
Can a player be a insert team name here for life?
Yeah, I think you can. I mean,
in a smaller market like that?
Yeah, I mean, Duncan did it relatively recently. I think that you can. You don't know what a guy's why is. I mean, he's played there this long, so my thinking would be that it's probably more about the lack of winning than it is the lack of location. I mean, he's as big a star as can be. I mean, that was the thing with LeBron. I don't think LeBron ever would have left Cleveland if they just had a roster around him that was competent. I mean, you remember those teams that he brought to the finals? That team when he put it on his back?
Just dragged them through the Eastern Conference semifinals and the Eastern Conference finals. And
those Mo Williams, Delonte West, Tristan
Larry
Thompson.
Hughes.
That's to your point.
They missed on Larry Hughes. They missed on DeJuan Wagner. They missed on Luke Jackson. Remember him from Oregon? They missed on one after another after another.
Him and Delonte West were practically brothers.
Yeah, that's a whole nother set of circumstances there. All right, Ryan Day had an availability yesterday on campus to look back on the Buckeyes and how they did in the draft. But one of the things that got my attention, we're going to spend a lot of time on his comments on the quarterback because he had a lot of them. We'll get to that at 10 o'clock. But one of the things that caught my attention is the type of player he is recruiting to Ohio State. You'll hear the answer to that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com.
Feeling unsure about preparing your roof for spring storms? Newman Roofing is here for you. For over 30 years, we've helped homeowners understand their roof's condition so they can make the best decision for their home. Stop worrying and call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman Roof.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up.
Going up.
But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button.
Going down.
We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a First Friday edition of the program. Ryan Day with a press conference on campus yesterday. Touched on myriad topics, really weighed in heavily on the quarterbacks, and we will play some of that for you at 10 o'clock because it was really candid from Coach Day. And that's one thing I've noticed, and winning a national championship will do that. You ask Ryan Day a question now, you're going to get an answer. It's just pretty straightforward. Very, very comfortable in on where his feet are and who he is as a coach, and he ought to be based on what he's done around here. And you hang a banner, and that's one of the things that you can do. And I think that kind of dovetails into these comments from Coach that we're going to play yesterday in terms of this is pretty remarkable stuff. Ohio State kept all of its scholarship players. The portal has come and it is gone, and nobody left. Not from a scholarship perspective. Here's Ryan Day on how that happened.
It says a lot about our team. I think stability is very, very important. And it's always important to be transparent in recruiting, but now more than ever, what you say you're going to do, which is your character, what you say you're going to do, you have to back up. And I think, we've done that. And the other part of it is when we recruit guys now, we want guys who want to be at Ohio State. If we have to talk you into coming to Ohio State, if money's the first thing you're looking for, this isn't the right place for you. And if people choose Ohio State because they want to come to Ohio State, they're more likely to stay. And so that's just a philosophy that we've had here, for a long time, but now more than ever because of the way things are. And I think, guys enjoy being at Ohio State. They like being here. And so as long as they're being valued, then they're going to stay because they know the development.
A couple of factors there. And he said this in the last couple of years. He's been on with us a couple of times at the practice. He was in studio with us last summer, I think, and then we had him on a couple of weeks ago. And one of the constant things that you can hear in the messaging is that in the old days, you would have to convince a player. Part of the salesmanship is convincing a player to come to you. Here's what I can do for you. One of the things that they've changed slightly, and it's nuanced, but it's there, is that Ohio State doesn't say they don't really have to sell anybody on who they are anymore. They've become NFLU over the last decade plus. Every recruit knows who they are. So if you want to get developed for the league, come to Ohio State. Because that's simply what they do. The reputation is so good throughout the NFL circles that if you go to Ohio State, you'll be developed, you'll be ready to be a pro. That kind of speaks for itself. So what they started to do, even before NIL went nuts, was they started to say, are you a fit with us? And that's a different from you're a fit and here's what we'll do for you. There's a difference in that. The other thing that they started to do, and this speaks to what they've done in recruiting, what they've done in the NFL draft, is they have said that line that he just said, which is the first thing you say is money, then we're not for you. So you're going to get compensated here richly. Many have. But at the same time, if that's your number one priority, this isn't probably for you anyway. Now, the one pushback I'll say on that is there are a handful of programs who can do it that way. Probably for sure less than 10. My hunch is around 5 that don't have to play that game where we're just going to outbid for somebody. I don't think Georgia doesn't have to do that. Alabama will see with Kalen DeBoer. I don't think Texas has to do that. Ohio State does not have to do that. I don't know if Notre Dame has to do it. It feels like the type of kid who's going to go to Notre Dame is a very specific type of player. I don't know if they're in the bidding war process. We know that Michigan is because they just did it with Underwood. So you know that they're in the bidding war process of we will pay you more, just wait and see. I think there are a lot of factors led to Underwood, though, too. I think they were looking for a recruiting splash and so on. But there aren't many. There aren't many programs who can say, who can be choosy with recruits and who can push back. And I think the other thing that is apparent, not only do they have the culture here and the brotherhood and all of those things that are very real, the success, NFLU, all of it, they're obviously very smart when it comes to NIL. It seems to me like these are one-year deals that they have in NIL. Now, there's no paper trail for it, and no one's going to talk about it out loud, but it feels to me like if you sign an NIL deal at Ohio State, then you have it, it's a year deal. Because to not have a single scholarship player jump into the portal, a lot of that is culture, but some of it's probably also the agreements that are being agreed to. I think that has to be part of it too. So Ohio State has all the advantages that you would want. They're selling a product that is, as I said 15 years ago when the show was still on the air, it's Don Draper selling Mercedes-Benz. Like it makes a lot of sense. And then on top of it, they're very smart when it comes to NIL and compensation and how to handle these players. I think the combination of all of that, and you have the healthiest college football program in America in an ever-evolving landscape.
And I think the messaging from jump was super important in this because there was an acceptance, however radical it might be, towards name, image, and likeness. When it was gonna go live for everybody in the country, you saw and heard a lot of coaches that were against it, that were taking time out of their press conferences to complain about the changes, to say that this isn't how it should be, this isn't what we want to do. And you never really heard any of that from Ohio State. Like Ryan Day, there never felt like there was, while they didn't probably love this, there was an understanding that this was how college football was going to be. And in the years since it's become an ever-prevalent thing, Ohio State's maintained the same message. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, it helps when you hit on guys that you recruit out of high school, guys that you recruit from the transfer portal, that those guys become contributors, those guys become high-level performers, not only at this level, but at the next level. But you're also keeping everything the same. So there's no radical change because tomorrow there's going to be something changing in college football. College athletics is going to go through some sort of change, but Ohio State's kind of the one standard that's been the same since everything in college football has gone awry.
And I think even the guys Ohio State might get in a bidding war for, the upper echelon, like a Jeremiah Smith, we know he's not in it all about the money. Like, he's in it to get to the next level, and he works as hard or harder than anyone else. So it's not just like Jeremiah Smith's here trying to get a paycheck. Sure, he was trying to get a top dollar deal, but everybody wants Jeremiah Smith, right? But he comes here because he knows he's going to get developed and get as much as anywhere else, too. And he works hard. That's why he was an Iron Buckeye as a freshman.
I'm going to tell you this right now. This is fact. This isn't scores. This is fact. Jeremiah Smith turned down more to come here.
It was Miami, right?
Fact. Significantly more.
Like it was the 11th hour.
It was not. If he wanted, as an incoming freshman, if he wanted to make more money, he could have, and he could have stayed closer to home to do it than he did. So there was something. Now, Ohio State was very competitive. Jeremiah Smith's making a lot of money playing wide receiver for Ohio State, as he should be. He's worth every single cent. But at the same time, this is the thing I think Ryan Day's talking about. They are finding kind of the cross-section of elite player to recruit who also can see the big picture. That's who they're after. And what their big picture is, if their big picture is, I want to play in the league and I want to be developed to play in the league so that the league trusts me, then that's the guy that they're after. Elite, but also big picture guys.
And it goes back to what I was saying about they were proactive at a time where everybody was just waiting and being reactive to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this is also something, you don't stumble into this either. I mean, like, if you think about how long Mark Pantoni's had that job, and his job's evolved, from what he was initially, which was an ambassador of cool. How do I make Ohio State appealing to young kids around the country, not just in the state of Ohio? I mean, that was job one for him, which is why I gave him that nickname. Now, I mean, he's the general manager. He's in charge of the whole roster. But Mark has been there from the ground floor in college football. I mean, he was at Florida with Urban before that, so he's seen this evolve into what it is now, and he was at Florida, and then he was here, and he's seen all of it. So you have, and by the way, Ryan's seen about every aspect of this, from being a coordinator to now being a head coach. You think about the guys on the staff, you think about threes, you think about Heartline, you think about guys who are players here and what they're selling. I guess the point of all of this is it's a really damn good time to be a Buckeye football fan, and it's only been a really good time to be a Buckeye football fan for about 50 years. and you're the only ones who have it like this. There's nobody else who's got a half-century run of relevance where you wake up every single Saturday in the fall and go, yeah, we're going to win. I mean, that's kind of what it's been for a half century. And so that you're selling a lot of different things. But now, based on what you're hearing from Ryan in the last year, they're pretty resolute. They know who their type is, and they're not going to bend for anyone. So sleep well at night. Future very, very bright as the past has been. All right, speaking of a bright future, obviously the quarterbacks are a very, very bright future. You're going to hear from Ryan Day, and we'll try to make sense. And he answered pretty directly of what he thinks of that quarterback competition at the top. And speaking of quarterbacks, Mel Kiper weighed in on next year's quarterback class. We will have that for you coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's Ping Pong Game. The Fan.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Hey guys, don't waste time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit the TRT experts today at Low T Center for a free consultation and free test. The treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted. And you'll get the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. The offer is limited, so book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Aaron, which brand of air conditioner is the most energy efficient?
It's the one that's had its outside coils cleaned correctly.
Well, I can wash those off with a garden hose, right?
No.
Why not?
Humidity mixes with dust and pollen to create a microthin film of sticky paste that gets baked onto those hot outside coils.
And that baked-on stuff keeps my coils from releasing their heat into the atmosphere.
Which means your system has to run longer, which uses a lot more energy and it shortens the life of your air conditioner.
Get Eco.
ECO.
How do we get that baked-on stuff off?
Remove the exterior shroud, then spray the coils from the inside out with a special eco-friendly solvent.
Can I rinse the solvent off with a garden hose?
Yeah, but only from the inside out.
Or I could just pay Eco to do it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco doesn't take shortcuts. We do it the right way every time.
Get Eco professional coil cleaning for just $468.
Bobby Carpenter is packing up morning juice and headed to YouTube. Catch Bobby and Tito on the Fan's YouTube page weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
All the fun starts on May 12th.
More Bobby, less commercials. Attack and dominate the Fan.
Whether you're building a single roof or a successful roofing business, roofing contractors like you need the right tools for the job, and software is no exception. Service Titan is on a mission to be the most powerful software platform for the trades, with purpose-built technology proven to maximize revenue, streamline operations, and deliver 5-star customer experiences. We are taking roofing companies like yours to the next level and beyond. Service Titan. We are built for this. See what we can do for roofers at servicetitan.com.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
Did I tell you guys he bought like a chariot? My dad? Like for horses to pull him?
That's amazing.
To race in the Coliseum?
Yeah, like one of those. Yeah, it's like he looks like ridiculous.
So he doesn't have to ride the horse anymore? They just pull him?
He's worried about when he can't ride. I said, why don't you get a stagecoach? Why stop there? Like what's... He goes, well, chariot only needs one horse. So he took one of his horses. He sent it to... Apparently, there's a chariot trainer somewhere in Montana. So he took one of his horses, who was, broke to be ridden, took it to this guy who trained it how to pull a chariot. And so he sent me a video of him on a ridiculous chariot. And his whole idea here is, I think, so that when he's too old to ride... Which, by the way, I feel like raising my hand in the back, like, Dad, okay, too old to ride. Are you going to be old enough to be able to get all the apparatus on the horse and hook it up to the chariot? Like, that's the next phase. So when you think about Yellowstone, could just be Bo's dad. It could be. It's in play. That's how it could go, because my guy's buying chariots now.
I imagine the chariot guy's just Lloyd.
A lot. Dude, my dad is a low rent Costner, but a lot of Lloyd. Like, he's a low rate John Dutton, but a lot of Lloyd. I mean, he walks like Lloyd. He's got a mustache like Lloyd. I mean, there's a lot of parallels to Lloyd from.
There's probably a lot of Lloyds in that part of the country, right?
Buddy, you could throw a stick at the July 4th rodeo in Choteau, Montana, and hit 1 billion of them.
Well, now your dad can enter into either that rodeo or like the procession on the chariot.
That idiot, when I was a kid, did something at the Conrad Hoop Up days called the suicide race.
I'm sorry, the what?
Oh,
that's
boy.
Right. Where the horse was unsaddled in a creek bed. So your horse has to start unsaddled. You have to saddle the horse, sprint through the arena, then ride it up like the side of a hill / mountain, go around a post, and then come straight down the hill, and the first one back to the middle won $100. I remember as a kid, and I'm going, what are we doing?
Nothing like risking your life for $100.
I'm going to tell you the safe money on all of those. There are always a couple of entrants from the Blackfeet Indian Reservation. Those guys win.
Oh yeah,
those guys. Those guys win. My mom's buddy Dutch Lunick, he'd win those. That's the guy who wins the suicide races. Was those guys? Those guys undefeated in that. They're well versed.
Like rainwater security.
Yes,
guy.
exactly. Dutch Lunick is absolutely a rain. He was in like the Costner movie Dances with Wolves. Like, he was in that. Like, he did all the stunt work for a lot of that stuff. But he was like Legends of the Fall. A lot of that stuff he did. But he's winning the suicide races. All right, quarterback class last year. One of the things that I always push back on is the wait till next year idea, right? Well, wait till next year and you see what quarterbacks are in next year's class. We're going to get the quarterbacks next year. Nobody knows anything. You have no idea if these quarterbacks coming out of college, what they'll look like a year later. Last year at this time, most mock drafts had Carson Beck number 1, Shedeur Sanders number 2 in the draft, and usually Quinn Ewers was in the top 10. Carson Beck is at Miami. Shedeur Sanders went in the 5th round. Quinn Ewers went in the 7th round. That's kind of what happened, and that's how hard all of this is when it comes to prognosticating what these guys will be. Mel Kiper was on with Adam Schefter and took an early look at the quarterback class for 2026. Here are some of those comments.
I think Drew Aller has a chance at Penn State. Yep. We're not going to get to Arch. I think Arch will go back. I don't know if the Mannings will allow Arch after 1 year as a starter to come out. Peyton and Eli went back. So Arch, we'll leave Arch. We don't know what Arch is going to be. He played in 3 games against some bad teams, right? So what Arch Manning becomes, Sam Leavitt, let's leave him out of the equation at Arizona State. He's only 20 years old, had the one big year at Arizona State. So Sam Leavitt, Arch Manning. Lenora Sellers at South Carolina is a talented kid.
Very talented.
Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik at Clemson, Carson Beck as well. Then Nico's at UCLA, right? Left Tennessee to go to UCLA. We'll see what Nico can develop into out there. Carson Beck, what he can do after leaving Georgia for Miami. But right now, I think this is the Drew Aller year. Drew Aller contemplated maybe leaving. Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton came back to 2 running backs, just like happened with Travion Henderson. They added Quinshon Judkins at Ohio State, and then Will Howard came in, and all this was going on at Ohio State. I think when you look at having guys like that back, should help him and should allow Drew Aller with another year to really step it up to maybe become a number 1 pick overall or somewhere in that mix to be the first quarterback. We'll see what happens with Arch.
Yeah, Arch, everybody knows. Arch is not playing 1 year at Texas. He's playing 2. The only scenario where I could see him coming out next year is if the pick at number 1 is a place he'd love to go. Like, for example, would he go to the Giants? Legendary franchise. Uncle won 2 Super Bowls there. Would he stay home? Like, if the Saints pick number 1 overall, and would Arch Manning follow in the footsteps of Archie Manning? Because he'll know. You're going to know who's picking number 1 when you make your declaration if you're going to stay or not, and you know he's going to go number 1. I see the guys at On 3, Staples and our buddy Ari Wasserman. They're talking about it all the time about, like, are we putting too much on Arch Manning? No, you're not. Feels like a lock that he's gonna go at the top of a draft. It's just next year or the year after, based on what we've seen. But maybe that's too much on him. I don't know. I know Ari's big pushback on that has been if his name wasn't Manning, he would actually be viewed even more positively. That the reason that he's even viewed with some sort of skepticism is because of the last name. So that feels like a long stretch, but who knows? But I think this thing with Aller going number 1 overall, remember there was a ton of momentum for him coming out this year, and then everybody watched the Notre Dame stuff, and they said, not so fast. What do we need to see out of Drew? I mean, this is such a monumental year for Penn State. It's just everything is lined up for them to go, and it's just a matter of, do you trust James Franklin? I know our answer to that is no, but can you trust James Franklin to get Drew Aller first-round pick quarterback ready? Do you trust that? Because that's a tough thing for me to trust.
I think it'd be, can he put up similar numbers this year without a Tyler Warren? So 3,300 yards, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
Yeah.
Can that be done? And I don't think they got 2 receivers out of the portal, but I'm not sure they did anything seriously to give him a deep threat.
So to me, Bo, and your point of kicking the can on quarterbacks till next year, if Drew Aller's what I'm kicking to, I'm out. I'm taking everything I can this year because I just don't get it. I don't see it. I understand that the prototypical size is there, right? 6'4", 6'5", 230 pounds, and those numbers that Reese just read off for Aller, they're not terrible. Maybe another year, and I don't think it's James Franklin. I think it's maybe another year with Andy Koltelnicki is the way we can look at that for him. Yeah. Maybe it'll help. I just don't know. I don't see it out of Aller. I never have, and I'm glad that Mel mentioned Cade Klubnik. I don't understand why he's not getting more buzz, especially after the year he had last year. His year statistically was awesome for Clemson.
I think most people was it last year when he was really bad against Georgia? Or was that his sophomore year? Like, they opened the year and he struggled in the opener.
I think it was last year because everybody wrote him off, and then all of a sudden they were 11-2 and in the playoff.
Yeah, they didn't write back. I'm wondering, to Ari's point, like, if his name wasn't Manning, if he would even be viewed much at all.
So that would be the conventional pushback.
Because I just keep going back to, if Steve Sarkisian had a better option than Quinn Ewers in the college football playoff semifinal, he'd have gone to the better option.
I think that too, but I don't know. I don't know. I think that something fishy was going on there. It doesn't make any sense. I'm with you. It's fair to question all of it, but you're watching him play, and you're like, there isn't anybody better. Then Quinn goes in the 7th round. Yeah, this is the problem with Klubnik, Bake, just to put a ribbon on that. It was the Georgia game last year. So they opened against Georgia. Georgia opened the season number 1 in the country, and he went 18-29 for 142 and a pick, and they got beat 34-3. So that people can't shake that. You're right. After it, he had a really solid season. I mean, he's 36-39, 36 touchdowns, 6 picks. The pedigree's there. Remember, he was the number 1 quarterback in the country coming out of high school.
Yeah, ranked ahead of Allard.
Yeah, and Quinn reclassified. Quinn should be a senior right now, but he reclassed, and so that was kind of the way that went. He was really good in the playoff loss to Texas, 26 of 43, 336, 3 touchdowns and a pick. In the South Carolina game, 26 of 36 for 280, no touchdowns but a pick. Yeah, I think it's the Georgia game that people can't shake with him. But it's going to be, I guess the point of it is, you think you know what a quarterback class is going to look like. You really have no idea till they get there. We know who's going to be battling for the quarterback position at Ohio State. Ryan Day weighed in yesterday on where we stand with that battle. We will get into that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that, and often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym could be due to low testosterone, and that is something you can change. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and even if you're in your 30s or if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, and your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make a change for the good. And for a limited time, new patients will get their initial appointment free, which includes blood work and a medical consult, because we believe low T treatments could have an incredible impact on your life. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Sick of the long security lines and flight delays? Travel on your terms. Go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's Open House. From May 3rd through the 10th, take advantage of huge deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Our Delaware, Heath, and Pataska locations will feature exclusive sale pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes with special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. We'll have you road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at RCDRV.com.
Buy now with pre-tariff pricing at Coughlin Kia. Lease a new 2025 Kia K4, just $195 a month plus taxes and fees. Or choose low 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new 2025 Kia Sportage or Sorrento. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Coughlin has the car for you.
1.9% for 60 months equals $18.37 per 1,000 with approved credit through Kia Motor Finance. 24-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents per mile over. 2025 due. Excludes $250 dock fee, $400 disposition fee at lease end. No security deposit. See dealer for details and 43025.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes who are going above and beyond in their communities. Newman Roofing wants to recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in their towns to be recognized on 10 TV and The Fan. Stay tuned as we begin announcing the selected honorees who truly embody the spirit of Newman Roofing's commitment to community.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Guess what? It's driving season, friends, and my friends at Jermaine Lexus are ready for you with their most popular models on the lot and ready to go with special APRs as low as 3.99% up to 48 months or 4.49% up to 60 months with low lease payments starting at $389 per month on the 2025 NX. And if you're looking for a TX, they're finally available for immediate delivery. Jermaine Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
We've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Cavaliers have their opponent for the Eastern Conference semifinals. It's the Indiana Pacers, who eliminated the Milwaukee Bucks last night with a 118-117 overtime win in Game 5 of their first-round playoff series. Cleveland's going to host Indiana in Game 1 on Sunday. Elsewhere in the association Tuesday, the Celtics eliminated the Magic with a 120-89 win in Game 5. Boston's going to play either Detroit or New York in the next round. The Pistons stayed alive with a 106-103 win last night in Game 5. New York still leads the series 3-2. Pistons will host Game 6 on Thursday. In baseball last night, the Guardians walked off on the Twins 2-1 after a 3-hour weather delay in Cleveland. Both teams are back at it tonight. And in Cincinnati, the Reds were rained out against the Cardinals last night. They'll do a doubleheader on Wednesday. First pitch in Game 1 is 12:40. You can hear it on ESPN Columbus with coverage at 12:10 and breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
You guys, I'll tell you what, 100 men versus a silverback and Bill Belichick's girlfriend. I did not have those on my bingo card of what would be everyone's fascination in the last week of April, hashtag first week of May. But reporting that Belichick's girlfriend is the reason they're not doing Hard Knocks, that she stopped it. So much more on this. It's interesting, like that Carolina, which is a blue blood operation. I wonder, like, how much of this are they for? Like, I mean, like, this isn't like, it's not Dion going to Colorado. I mean, it's Carolina. Like, they had the number 3 pick in the draft last year. I mean, they went Sam Howell, Drake May. They've had a lot of guys go through there. It's a really good operation. By the way, it's the one that theoretically could be available down the road that the ACC and that the Big Ten and the SEC would both want. So there's good future planning in it as well. I do wonder how the folks down there feel about all of this, because it's a weird look.
Especially the ones that cut the check. Like, yeah. North Carolina could probably afford a Bill Belichick, but they're probably not going to do so without booster incentive or booster money or collective money. Like, if you're a member of the Tar Heel Collective or whatever it is funding football, you're wondering, well, I'm going to get these guys out of the portal. I'm going to help pay you a little bit, but what's going on with leadership here? Like, is my return on investment going to involve? I'm assuming an ACC title game is the return you're looking for. If they lose 6 games this season because Belichick, can't control the circus, what the hell did I just buy? What did I just buy?
Well, they didn't buy much in recruiting. I mean, they're doing nothing on that side. Very little on that side of things. Very little in the portal. So that is the talent. I mean, unlike Dion at Colorado, where there was an incredible talent infusion. Remember, I got new luggage and it's Louis. Well, it was. I mean, he had a Heisman Trophy winner and his kid was an all Big 12 quarterback. So yeah, it was Louis Vuitton luggage that came into Colorado. There's none of that. at Carolina.
I'm guessing Carolina didn't have any of this on their bingo card either. I wonder if somebody has a talk with Belichick after the CBS Sunday morning and like, hey, could you wear a Holy North Carolina T-shirt, sweatshirt,
so that's
instead
what
of Navy? Like, come on, man.
I wonder there if she has as much control as everybody says she does, because Belichick's worn ratty clothing forever.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually, that tracked.
It's a choice.
And being awkward, those two things are like, oh, yeah, that's the Belichick we know.
She released that email that he sent to everybody in his staff about how, look, they're going to try to make it about everything else. This is a book about football. Okay, so you don't get to reach out to people and say, hey, can I come on your platform to talk about my book, and then tell them what they're going to ask. Like, you're not going to do that at the Boston Globe. You're not going to do that with CBS News. Like, it's not the way that it works. Portnoy made a really good point on it. He said, and I think he's probably spot on here, knowing that Belichick's basically the same age as my dad, who just bought a Chariot. And that is this. He doesn't think Belichick is aware that all of those images, like her with the mermaid outfit and doing the Titanic, he feels like he's not aware that those actually went viral and everybody's seen them. And I think that's fair. I think that's accurate.
Do you think he knows Belichick Productions exists? Because according to reporting from The Athletic, that's who Jennifer Hudson identified herself as CEO of that to the NFL when they asked North Carolina about Hard Knocks. Like the university and the NFL reportedly, and again, this is three guys from The Athletic, Andrew Marchand, Brendan Marks, Matt Baker, reported that everybody was ready to go forward with it because there was the reporting, but they were going to finalize it with a press release, and then she put the kibosh on it.
Oof. Yeah, it's alarming. I tell you what, it was as we make the transition to the Buckeye quarterback situation, Ryan Day had a lot of comments on that yesterday. One of the things that was alarming around here was the way Julian Sayin played in the spring game. Here's kind of the feeling that you got coming out of this availability is that Lincoln Kienholz was leading heading into the spring game. And now that it's essentially a bit of a dead heat. So let's hear from Ryan Day. He's got a lot of thoughts on this, a lot of good thoughts, very direct. Let's start with just the idea that both of these guys got better.
Yes, I think so. It was very generic looks, but I thought Lincoln missed a couple early, but then got into a rhythm. Other than that part of it, I thought both Lincoln and Julian handled the environment well. I thought they handled the huddle well. I thought they handled everything about that well. That was a step in the right direction. We all know that, again, the looks were very generic and those type of things, but you still got to execute them. So I thought that was good. I think there has been progress made. I think the next couple months, those guys coming in here and continue to get stronger and faster and getting on the film. Now they have cut-ups that they can watch to grow from. And then, as we all know, the summer will be huge. So, I'm encouraged with what we saw coming out. You can see the talent with Tavian. He just needs more experience, needs more at-bats. And the more he does that, the more he'll be in the mix. But right now, it's a two-horse race.
All right. Of course, Tavian should be at his high school prom, so was not going to be in the mix with guys who had been here. Here's Ryan on what the quarterbacks, all three of them, need to work on this summer.
Each guy has something like, throwing wise, some things they want to get better at. And so, they'll go out there and work on those things. And, we try to, help as much as we can, in terms of those improvements. But then also is just the overall understanding of the offense. When you have the cut-ups to watch, and you actually see yourself doing it as opposed to Will doing it or CJ, or, we have years of cut-ups of the same plays over and over again. You can see Dwayne running it or, Justin Fields running it. But when it's actually you doing it, it looks and feels different. So, the technical parts I won't get into, but for all three of them, it's really about understanding the offense better, understanding protections, understanding the route structures, how the ball has to come out, third down, red zone, understanding the entire offense. We put a good amount in, but there's still a lot that we haven't put in, so we need to continue to dive into that. Ultimately, they will be evaluated on how they make their routine plays routinely, and then how they do on third down, red zone, and 2 minute. And you've heard me say that before, but that's it. And Each guy has a different skill set. And so, we've done that before where we've adapted based on who we have, and we'll do that this year.
I think that's the big thing is these guys are all very different. They're very different types in terms of the style that they're going to go about their business. So that's something that will be tricky because what Sayin is good at might not be what Lincoln is good at, and Tavian obviously could be a little bit of mix of both of them. Who knows? But that I think is going to be fascinating to see because this is a choice. Bake, you're choosing to not have an Apple phone. Ryan Day's going to choose a type of quarterback. It's an active choice that he's making.
And I think from hearing these clips from Ryan Day, right, and I think we all knew this already, talent with all three of these is not an issue.
No.
Right? He didn't talk about talent with all of them. They can all do it. It's just understanding the offense, understanding what Ryan Day wants, and we already know what he wants. The routine plays routinely, move the chains on third down. We've heard him say that time and time and time again.
The quarterbacks are Apple phones to oranges. If it is Julian's start, then you're probably going to get a Lincoln package.
Yeah, I mean, they did that with Devin Brown. I don't usually like that. I don't. I always think, like, if someone wins the job, like, who takes the starting quarterback off the field? But, yeah, I don't know. There are absolutely distinctive choices that are going to be made at that position. Guess what? Ohio State's not alone in that. Coming up next, you take a look at the preseason top 25 stuff. This situation mirrors around the country, and you'll hear from Ryan Day. Is there a favorite in the quarterback room right now? Will the Texas game rush his decision on this? You'll hear from him on that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, I remember you saying that a family business should reflect family values, that a customer deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion.
And those values will never change. The reputation you built for being fair and honest is our greatest asset.
In fact, in 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and named the Lennox Partner of the Year.
You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind. It's an honor to continue serving Central Ohio as a locally owned, family-run business.
So, whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just honest advice, Care is here for you.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, Visit rocket.com. Rocket. Own the dream.
Two men, one is very white, fat, and bald. The other is not very white at all. Delightfully husky and getting bald. They have a radio show. It's good. T-Bone and Tyvis.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9, starting May 12th.
The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Are you in need of basic dental treatment but can't afford the cost? There may be a solution. Hi, I'm Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, and I'm excited to tell you about a program called Dental Options. Dental Options is a partnership between the Ohio Dental Association and the Ohio Department of Health in which qualifying patients can be paired with a dentist to receive discounted or even free dental care. Eligibility for the program is based on your financial situation. For more information or to apply, call 1-888-765-6789.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A mostly quiet Wednesday after a stormy Tuesday as we head through the day. Temperatures make their way to the 70s this afternoon with plenty of sunshine. We could see a straight shower push through, but that would be about it. Unfortunately, though, more strong storms return as we head into Thursday. That's going to prompt another 10 TV Weather Impact Alert Day, so make sure you're staying weather aware. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
And as always, and proudly, we are brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Talking Ryan Day and his quarterbacks, Lincoln Kienholz, and everything that's going to go into this decision between Julian Sand and Lincoln Kienholz. And I think most people assume that Julian was the leader going into spring football. That would be very fair to do that. He was the leader coming out of fall. Certainly had jumped to the point where he was knocking on the door of Devin Brown to be the backup quarterback. It did seem like in spring that Lincoln maybe passed him a little bit. In the spring game, Julian kind of answered pretty bigly. Here was Ryan Day yesterday on if there is a favorite in the quarterback room right now.
I felt like Lincoln going into the spring game was a little bit ahead of Julian, and then I thought if you just watched the game, Julian probably performed a little bit better than Lincoln during the spring game. And here we are, so gone back through, watched the spring practices, look at the grades, they're very similar. So we'll take it into the summer, and we'll let them play. The more you play, the more these things find a way to work themselves out. So who knows? Who knows how it's going to shake? My guess is they're going to need each other. We're going to need Tavian to come as well. He's got to be able to help. It's going to be a long season. And we're not talking about someone like Will, who's a fifth-year senior, who's 22, 23 years old, who's just been around. That was a long run he went on. So we need depth in that room.
It's such it's a position unique unto itself, right? Everybody in the room has to support each other, but only one plays. And the difference between being the starter and being the backup is the Grand Canyon of a gap. So he is trying to speak that into existence. I think they've done a great job of creating a room and a team where there is a great deal of support. We saw that last year with Devin Brown, who did not leave. I mean, he stuck around despite being in the portal and going to Cal and all of it. He stuck around all the way. So that tells you the type of buy-in that they have up there in terms of those individual rooms, and especially that one. I asked him this when he was on with us right before the spring game, and then he was kind of asked about this yesterday as well. He was asked if Texas being the opener changes the timetable on the quarterback. Here's was his answer: yes.
No, because you still have to have the focus on the long term. This is a long season. But that being said, we're going to do everything we can to make sure we have the right person in that place to go win that first game, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I don't believe him on that one.
No, you can't.
I just don't.
He's got to say that, but anybody, I think, would tell you truthfully, it changes everything. that you do in the spring, everything that you do in the fall. The idea that I believed him a couple months ago when he spoke on changing spring because of the shortened season. Like the lengthened season shortened the time off that they had between the January 20th national championship win and then the start of spring ball. That I believed. But I also thought it weighed so heavily on their minds because minutes after winning that game against Notre Dame, they are on to Texas in terms of their preparation for the season. So if it had been an Ohio University or a Grambling your first week of the season, this whole thing's different. But it's Texas.
Yeah.
When talking about other things about the spring and the off season and whatnot, he was asked if that opener gave it a little more urgency. Mm-hmm. And he said, absolutely. Yeah. I kind of believe him on this quarterback decision in the fact that they could pick one to start that Texas game. And maybe it's not the guy that finishes the year because you're going to have Grambling and Ohio after that where you have a chance to maybe get both of them in and see a little more game action. He talked about he needs to see these guys live more because you only get so many reps as a quarterback to actually play football. But they want to have the guy in place going into the opener. I think they want to know who it is without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I don't want that. And I don't think they want it. If you hooked them up to True Serum, gave them a slurp, you don't want to be playing two quarters. I mean, everybody, they're going to deserve to play fine, but like you get a start, I get a start. Like that's the last thing anybody wants. I do think there is truth to this. I mean, this is just the reality of a 12-team playoff. The Texas game is not a must-win. It's going to have must-win environment. It's going to be electric. Hopefully they get it at night if they can make that work. But it's going to have big game on campus spectacle to it, but it is not a must-win.
It is a must not get embarrassed.
I don't even know. Clemson got embarrassed last year in the opener. They made the playoff. They had 4 losses. Now, they won their league. They had 4 losses. Like, I don't know. I think this is kind of new college football. Is that with that 12-team playoff sitting out there. Now, everything I'm saying, everybody in that room is going to prepare for the Texas game like it's the Super Bowl. Don't tell them that. But the reality is that it isn't. If Texas comes in here and Arch goes guns a-blazing and they beat the brakes off the Buckeyes 28-10 or something like that, we'll come up here on Monday and say, God, what happened? I didn't see that coming. But it's not the end of the season. Not by a damn stretch. Everything that you want to accomplish is still there. Folks, we lost at Oregon and here to Michigan and won the national title. Whatever Texas would do in the worst-case scenario last year, it's not more embarrassing than losing the Michigan game here, which happened last year. Still won the national title. So there's going to be an evolution to this. One of the things that I was thinking about, though, because I believe, Ryan, in the sense that this quarterback situation is unsettled, go do yourself a favor and go look at the college football final rankings from last season and do yourself a favor and count how many situations are unsettled in the sport. I cannot recall a situation like this in my time around the sport at the top, where the most talented teams, by and large, are replacing signal callers, and they're not replacing them in the way that Ohio State did last year, and Notre Dame's done the last couple of years with transfer portal guys. That's not what this is. Ohio State, obviously, well documented. Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman said this competition's going into fall camp at Notre Dame. Now, it feels like it's going to be C.J. Carr, but he didn't name him. Georgia is an ongoing competition. How about Alabama? Feels like Ty Simpson, but nothing conclusive. Penn State's known. So there's one for the known. It's going to be Drew Aller. Texas is known. Arch Manning. Okay, fine. Oregon feels like it's going to be Dante Moore, but we don't know. You don't know what's going to happen there. Michigan. I mean, Tennessee was in the playoff. Their quarterback is currently at UCLA, and they got the kid from App State. Ole Miss was on the cusp of the playoff. LSU missed the playoff, but their quarterback's returning. You start going down the teams that were in the mix. The returning quarterbacks, this is just top 25. You go top 25 all the way down to SMU. SMU has a returning quarterback. Okay? But then beyond that, does Minnesota? No. Does Oklahoma? No. They got the kid from Washington State. Louisville doesn't. Iowa doesn't. Clemson does. It's Clemson, South Carolina. It's easier to do it this way. Clemson, South Carolina, Florida. I think K-State does. Have their guy back?
Avery Johnson's back.
He's back. Yeah. Okay. So that's 3. Texas A&M does. LSU does. Texas does, and Penn State does. Is it 7 out of the top 25 that have quarterbacks solidified?
It's by my count. Yeah, it's easier to just say who's. This is college football.
We don't have this like this, though, in the sport, where 2/3 of the teams in the top 25 are starting over at quarterback. So what I'm saying here is September is going to get pretty squirrely in the sport because there's going to be a lot of young kids thrust into big spots. Hell, Arch has never played in a game like the one he's going to play in here. And he's, we count him as like known because he started kind of 2 meaningless games. One of them was an SEC game, but they obviously had an incredible talent advantage. So he started a couple of games there, and so you give him a pass. He's never played in a game like the one he's going to play in here as the starter. No chance. No chance. So the job, if you're Ryan Day, if you're Marcus Freeman, if you're Sharon Moore, if you're Dan Lanning, if you're Kirby Smart, if you're any of these guys, Kalen DeBoer, and you think you have talent, but you're trying to figure out what to do at quarterback, what you want them to do, I guarantee you one of the 3 things Ryan Day says what he wants one of these quarterbacks to do, and my guess is the one who does it is the one who's going to win it. It's the Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby isn't a thinker. Ricky Bobby's a driver. Whichever one of these quarterbacks stops thinking and just plays, I think that's what made the spring game for Julian such an emphatic feeling coming out of it, was he just played. And maybe he was thinking in spring practice, and how could you not, right? Quarterback competition, all of the stuff that comes with it. You're at Ohio State, all of it. But all of a sudden in the spring game, 40,000 people, the sounds, you're just playing football. He just played.
Yeah, I wonder if there's, for some guys, just more of a comfort being in that environment.
For sure, Reese.
As opposed to being in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. It's a confined space. Mm-hmm. You've got coaches standing 2 feet behind you, critiquing every single thing you do, your footwork, your timing, where your helmet's going. When you're out on the field, it's just like, no, and especially this season, and probably from what Julian and Lincoln saw last season, F it, 4's down there somewhere. It's just football. And they thrive in that. Mm-hmm. More so than the practice warrior.
Yeah, I think that is. And that's what he's going to be looking for. I don't know how you simulate it, but I think that's why the spring game will be so crystallized in his memory because he saw it. He saw Julian stop thinking and just play. And when he did, the results were pretty good. Jake Trotter in 2 minutes, senior college football writer at ESPN. Obviously, he was on the Browns beat for a long time. We'll have a little bit of fun at the Browns draft with Jake coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Sick of the long security lines and flight delays? Travel on your terms. Go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's Open House. From May 3rd through the 10th, take advantage of huge deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Our Delaware, Heath, and Pataska locations will feature exclusive sale pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes with special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. We'll have your road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at RCDRV.com.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
To find an agent near you, visit shelterinsurance.com and switch today.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
Indeed he is, and he joins on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. You versus 100 of you versus a silverback gorilla. Do you come out alive?
Probably not. I'm not a great fighter. I haven't been in a fight in a long time, so I don't think my odds would be very strong.
You know, I've never been in a fight in my life.
Really?
Like with somebody other than my brother? No, I'm always Doc Holliday. I was always to be able to get out of it one way or another.
I have not been in a fight since my very early 20s, and if I recall correctly, I got my you-know-what kicked.
Didn't go well.
No, did not. It was like it wasn't just me, mano a mano. It was like multiple people, and I got waylaid.
Yeah, those things could certainly happen. I had a buddy of mine who would just love to fight, and his whole thing was punch first. If you know it's coming, just make sure you're the one that punched first. And I watched him, and it seemed like that worked a lot for him. I'm glad that we've navigated this point in our lives to avoid that. Before you were the senior college football reporter at ESPN, though, you were on the Browns beat. What did you make of what they did this weekend, and especially at the quarterback position?
So they had my favorite draft of any team in the NFL, and they also had by far the most bizarre pick of anyone in this draft, which showed, I think, how strong the rest of the draft was. I was legitimately stunned when they took Dylan Gabriel late in the third round. We both love Dylan, right? Was a fabulous college player, really nice kid, great leader, played a ton of football, won a lot of games. He's not even, I don't know that he's taller than me. And we just talked about my fighting acumen. I mean, I'm 5'10", 5'11", maybe. I don't think he's taller than me. And he probably doesn't weigh as much as me either. And late third round, could you not have gotten him in the sixth round? I heard that Andrew Berry really liked him a lot. I think this was a plan. I think they were nervous about somebody else grabbing him. I don't know why, but it became even stranger when they took Shedeur 2 rounds later in the fifth, which I don't blame them for doing in terms of value, but as a byproduct, you've created maybe the strangest quarterback room that I can recall in recent NFL memory. But the rest of the draft, I mean, I love the trade off the bat. Travis Hunter's going to be a stud for Jacksonville. Everybody just needs to get ready for that. He's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. He is a perfect fit for what they need on both sides of the ball. He's going to be awesome there. But Mason Graham can play. Everybody at Ohio State knows that. And, you just got a lot of good ball players, guys that just produced. And I think that there was a through line for much of the draft of, we're not going to take these risks that we've taken in the past with character concerns or off the field issues, just a bunch of dudes who, play football and, never heard anything bad about any of them. And then you got the extra first round pick. So I thought it was a terrific draft, really. I don't know what to make of the quarterback situation. I have no idea what that room is going to look like in September. It's going to be really interesting to watch.
If you were to give, the folks up there who control the messaging and all of that, some advice on, because you were there, and at times it was a circus when you were on that beat. The Odell stuff was wild. Some of the Baker stuff was wild. What piece of advice would you give on how to handle that room and most especially the Shedeur part of it?
Well, this is what it feels like to me. And I don't know how accurate this is. This is the way I feel like they have operated, since I've been around the Browns, is that it just feels like they use the word alignment and collaborative, but it feels like at times there's just different decision makers. And the strategy isn't always coherent. It's like, all right, we're going to extend Myles Garrett to try to win now, but then we're going to trade back and get an extra first-round pick to rebuild for the future. Like, are you trying to win now or are you trying to rebuild? Those are conflicting strategies. And there's just been a lot of that over the years where I'm not sure who's making this decision, who's making that decision. It feels like sometimes it's maybe ownership. Other times it feels like it's Andrew Berry. And you saw it in this draft, right? Like, I don't know what to make of drafting two quarterbacks the way that they did. Especially Shedeur was such a big personality. I get the value, but it looked like the game plan was up until the fifth round. We're going to take Dylan Gabriel. He's going to be our Case Keenum. He's going to be our left-handed Case Keenum, be our backup quarterback. Going to be a guy that, we feel good about in that room. And then we're going to take our franchise quarterback next year with the extra first-round pick. And then you take Shedeur, and you just I don't know what the strategy is now. So I think that Andrew Berry is a smart guy. I think they've got smart guys around them, and it just feels like at times they have a conflicting, overarching strategy that I think hurts them at times. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the – so I take them at their word on the Gabriel pick that they had him rated second overall behind Cam Ward. And I think the Shedeur thing is just a swing. I think it's a swing on a first-round talent. Jake, what I told my audience on Monday's show was I think what happened where there was the disconnect with Shedeur is whether you're Mel Kiper, Daniel Jeremiah, Dane Brugler, all of the Greg Cosell, all those guys grind film. Like that, they're just looking at tape. They're not out there meeting with these prospects. They're looking at tape. And the tape on Shedeur is at worst top of the second round tape. But most people thought he was a first round talent based on the tape. What they were unaware of is that he basically treated the pre-draft process like he was being recruited. Not like a job interview, which is what most do. I mean, even Bake did that. Bake treated, everybody treats it that way, but they didn't have an agent. And so they treated the pre-draft process like they were being recruited and like, you have to sell your franchise on me versus me selling you on drafting me. So I think what it came with Shedeur was, here's first-round talent in the fifth. Let's throw a Hail Mary and see what happens. Because talent-wise, I don't have this from them, but my hunch is just on the pure talent, Shedeur's talent is more than Gabriel's. So I think that's where that's probably how that happened in the fifth round. Yeah. Again, like I said earlier, I'm not saying Shedeur's a bad kid but clearly he rubbed everyone the wrong way through the draft. Literally everyone. So you have this strategy where, okay, we're drafting Mason Graham, we're drafting Schlesinger, we're drafting Gabriel, Quinshon. I mean, just guys that are, really, really good football players, team guys, leaders. Like, I was really impressed with what they were doing. Harold Fannin, just super productive. And then your strategy changes with Shedeur. And now, I mean, let's face it, it's going to be a zoo of a training camp again. They could have avoided that, and it's like they can't help themselves sometimes. And I get the swing on talent. Mm-hmm. I don't even have a problem with the pick, but it's like you have a board. I heard they were not high on Shedeur on the field either going into the draft. I think that they would have probably viewed him at best as a second-round pick. So, yeah, you're getting a lot of value, but I don't know what to make of it. And listen, if he's good, then maybe you draft two tackles next year, and all of a sudden, this offense looks completely different. But I don't know if he's that type of prospect. I don't know that he has that type of upside where you're not going to not draft a quarterback next year. And so, and again, who's on the roster in September? You're going to have to cut one or two of these guys. I think they're going to carry 4 at the beginning of the year. Okay. And I think you can do it because I don't think they're going to – well, I think at some point you're going to have to make a decision. Right. But my hunch is they'll carry 4 through the beginning, and then we'll see what – Who's the odd man out at the end of the day? I think that's going to be up to those three guys. My hunch is, buddy, that it's going to be Pickett first, and then it'll be Gabriel and Shedeur trying to win it, and Joe's the warm blanket. That's my hunch, is that Pickett will get every chance to be the one to start.
They gave up a 5th-round pick to get him. You listen to the way they talked about him. Despite everything they've done, he's probably the favorite. I don't know if he should be, but he's probably the favorite to win the job. Politically, it'd be really hard to move on from Flacco, especially if you have Pickett and 2 rookies and then, an injured Deshaun Watson. So I kind of think it's going to come down to Shedeur or Gabriel. And then, I don't think you're going to be able to trade Shedeur. You're definitely not going to be able to trade Gabriel for anything of value. So
no, I
don't know. It's just you've created an interesting possibility, but you've also created a dilemma that you're going to have to work through. But listen, I don't want to be too critical. I thought they had a phenomenal draft. I thought it was by far the best draft that they have had, at least since I've been around the team. And I thought they did a really good job just getting ball players, and got players that have produced at a high level for a long time, with the maybe the exception of Schlesinger, but nothing wrong with a former walk-on who wins the Buckus Award. I think that's pretty cool, and get those guys in your building.
Yeah, I think so as well, and I think the Shedeur thing kind of will overshadow what I think ended up being a pretty dang good draft with a lot of starters, and they need it to be. It has to be, because they've given up a lot of assets in the Deshaun Watson deal through the years. Buddy, always appreciate the conversation and giving us a little bit of your time. Thanks for doing so today.
All right, see you both. Take care.
All right, there he goes. Jake Trotter, senior college football writer at ESPN, joining on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We had Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of my favorite things, Wilson, is the look on people's faces when they see the end price for Pella windows.
Yeah, I'm always hearing, does it look like I'm wearing my money britches?
More like, I can't believe we get the Pella look and quality at these prices.
Oh, you went the other way with that. You're hearing good things. Oh, this is awkward.
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Did you ask about Pick 3 from the Ohio Lottery? Okay, Pick 3 is a daily draw game where you pick 3 individual numbers between 0 and 9 that can be played straight, where numbers must be drawn in an exact order or boxed where they can be drawn in any order. You can win hundreds, and wagers start at only 50 cents. Want to learn more? Okay. Go to OhioLottery.com or the Ohio Lottery app. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Common Man here for Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Guess what? It's driving season, friends. And my friends at Germain Lexus are ready for you with their most popular models on the lot and ready to go with special APRs as low as 3.99%, up to 48 months, or 4.49%, up to 60 months with low lease payments starting at $389 per month on the 2025 NX. And if you're looking for a TX, they're finally available for immediate delivery. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton. GermainLexus.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Common Man and Timmy are hosting afternoons together. Best friends, lots of jokes none of us understand. Not safe for work Instagram models. God help us.
Help! Help! What should we do? Weekdays at 3, starting May 12th.
The Fan.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Before you start your day, UDF has already started making your breakfast right in our bakery. We've got buttery, flaky croissants baked before the crack of dawn. We're making fluffy buttermilk biscuits from scratch by the time the sun starts to think about rising. And before you hit your first alarm, we've piled our biscuits and croissants high with sausage, egg, and cheese right in store. So come in and grab a fresh one and let us make you a morning person. Fresh baked breakfast sandwiches from United Dairy Farmers. UDF, mornings made for you.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Ohio Heating and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, still time to get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas at 971BFS on the X platform or also in the YouTube channel. We will handle those there. The winner gets the gift card, $50 worth, to our good friends at High Bank and the Distillery Tour. Time for a little thing or not a thing. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
Last week, the Washington Commanders used the 29th overall pick on Oregon tackle Josh Connerly Jr. He told 106.7 The Fan on Tuesday that he was one of at least 4 players to get pranked on draft weekend. Quote, I got one prank call. It was somebody in Colorado acting like they were the Broncos. Mine wasn't as bad and as cruel as some of the other ones. You, of course, know that Shedeur got pranked, Tyler Warren got pranked, as did another player who was called roughly 30 minutes after he was drafted and told he'd been traded. We don't know who that player is as of right now. Thing or not a thing?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing from the National Football League perspective that they allowed this to happen, right? So the idea here is you give it, I suppose what they learned from this is how many people really need these numbers, right? You don't, because they get shared. Like, is there a reason, for example, for the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons to have the cell phone number of every prospect? No. Here's who needs it. The general manager, but most especially their director of ops. That's who needs it. The general manager or director of ops, they need it. And they're the ones who are going to call the players on draft day, not anybody else. So I just think the NFL in general needs to really close this circle on this stuff and keep it to just general managers only and their ops people. Because if you do that, then I think you're not going to have this. But it seems like what they did is they shared these numbers with entire staffs, and that's where you get all these leaks.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We obviously know the one is from the Falcons defensive coordinator's son. I wonder if these all originated through him or were these other ways. I was watching something yesterday, and I believe it was with Adam Schefter on a podcast talking about some of this, and somebody said that the Shedeur Sanders case, this could have been avoided. They said because Shedeur Sanders didn't have an agent, and he was representing himself, and normally the agent's number would have been on that cell phone list, so the agents would get the calls if that was the case, but since Shedeur didn't have an agent, it was his personal. I don't know, but Schefter was kind of making it sound like it was almost Shedeur's fault in a little bit of way that if he would have had an agent, but still, let's not do this. What is the point in all of this?
Well, here's the other thing, though. I'll push back on that because he's not the only one, Bake.
Yeah.
I mean, so the rest of these guys had agents. So this isn't a Shedeur problem. This is an NFL problem. Yeah, the agent would have potentially shielded Shedeur from this, but obviously the rest of these guys are getting mocked too. So it happened in more than just that circumstance.
This was something that came down yesterday from the Big Ten Conference. All men's basketball opponents for the 25-26 season were told who they're playing in terms of conference games. The Buckeyes got their list of all the Big Ten opponents. All 18 teams in the Big Ten know who they're going to play and how many times they're going to play. Not yet when necessarily the dates, and obviously the times for the games. Ohio State's going to play three schools. Ohio State will play three schools twice. It's got a 20-game Big Ten schedule. Michigan, Penn State, Wisconsin. Ohio State will play Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota, Nebraska, Purdue, UCLA, and USC once at the Value City Arena. Thing or not a thing?
So my list of Buckeye basketball must-plays are three. And it's Michigan, Indiana, and Michigan State. Those three. Those are the three teams I want to play home and away if I'm Ohio State. Like, I don't need a home and away with Wisconsin. I don't need a home and away with Penn State. You give me Michigan, Indiana, Michigan State, that's the list. Those are the three teams I want to play twice. I want to play them at my place. I want to play them at their place. And it should be every year that at least two, in my view, it should be every year that at least two of those three are home and aways. But that's my list of three teams they should play, both home and away every year.
I think it's a big thing that they get Michigan on the schedule twice. I didn't even think of the Michigan State thing, but yeah, that kind of stinks that you're only going to get them once, and it looks like it's going to be up at East Lansing. I do like Ohio State playing Wisconsin twice, and I guess that's because I've seen so many memorable games between Ohio State and Wisconsin through the Thad years that game kind of became something that mattered to me. But the big thing is here, Ohio State, Michigan twice on the hardwood. That should almost be an every year thing.
Here's my problem with that, though. Like, let's not celebrate what is obvious. Like, you're letting us play Michigan home and away? That's number one. That's the first thing. Like, that's required. And I think that's something Ross Bjork will do. I think he'll push back on a lot of this stuff that was allowed to slide for a lot of years. I mean, to me, like, if you're Ohio State, look, we're Ohio State. Like, we're going to play these teams. We're dictate the games that you want. I could be wrong on that. My hunch that if you asked Buckeye fans and polled them, they would want to play Michigan State, Indiana, and Michigan home and away. I think that three is best representative. You guys have been around.
Probably right.
Are those the three?
I want Purdue every year home and away.
Is that just you being you, or is that what you think the fan base would like?
I think it's just me being me.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
You know, it is funny, Bo. I should think of Indiana the same way. I guess they've fallen off a lot, but man, those Jimmy Jackson, Calbert Chaney matchups back in the day were glorious.
I just think it goes back so long. I mean, it's the Bob Knight connection with it. I mean, there's just, yeah. I mean, when you see those uniforms, they just fit. It just fits.
A day after announcing Shaq as their general manager, Sacramento State men's basketball got a commitment from ex-Prep phenom Mikey Williams, who told ESPN he's committed to play for Mike Bibby. The former five-star from San Diego commits to the Hornets after one season at Central Florida. Williams has 3.3 million Instagram followers and was considered a five-star prospect early in his high school career. He garnered national attention, including some love from LeBron James for his dunking exploits and YouTube mixtapes. He committed to Memphis in 2022, but he never played a game for the Tigers. He was arrested in April of 2023 after he was charged for allegedly firing a gun at a car full of people who had arrived at his home. He was after some legal battle, he was sentenced to a year of summary probation, and the felony charge was reduced to a misdemeanor. Never played a game for Memphis. He was away from the team while his legal process played out. Transferred to UCF in January of 24. He averaged 5 points a game in about 14 minutes for 18 games for the Knights last season. Sacramento State's going to open a new basketball facility on campus this fall. Thing or not a thing?
Okay, parts of this are a thing. Like we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Shaquille O'Neal is a general manager. Mike Bibby is the coach. Sac State trying to get into a, probably not a Power 4 conference, but one of the other ones. So there's a lot of things that are kind of going on that side of things. But getting this kid is not a thing. I mean, this seems to me like one of those. Here's what jumps out to me. 6'3", okay, 3.3 million Instagram followers. So he was probably really good young at 6'3" and never grew. And so while he was a five-star really early in the process, he didn't end up being one. And then you have this off-field stuff as well. And the fact that he only averaged 5 a game at UCF tells me that this is not this isn't going to, there's not some huge jump that's going to happen in his play. I don't see. So to me, in terms of him, not. In terms of what Sac State's doing, that's a thing, big picture in college athletics.
This is an amazing thing because we have talked about Sacramento State basketball 2 days in a row. I can't believe I never would have seen that coming.
Would not have had that on the bingo card. No, not at all. Save the Joe stuff with because we can play that. Joe Thomas had some comments on retiring jerseys and so forth and so on. So we'll play that coming up at 11:20. Coming up next, it is a Hey Guys First Friday. Still time to get the best ones in. That's coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes who are going above and beyond in their communities. Newman Roofing wants to recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in their towns to be recognized on 10 TV and The Fan. Stay tuned as we begin announcing the selected honorees who truly embody the spirit of Newman Roofing's commitment to community.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Hey guys, don't waste time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit the TRT experts today at Low T Center for a free consultation and free test. The treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted. And you'll get the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. The offer is limited, so book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get your mulch ready for the season. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Whether it's mulch, soil, or even stone, we've got your yard covered. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your garden with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Let's go to the floor with some late-breaking developments on the markets. Jim?
Up things are down, down things are up.
Sounds like things
You don't understand. Right is left, lemons are sweet, spaghetti is cold, the milk is warm.
Okay, but are you seeing anything that maybe smart-minded money people should know about?
Yeah. Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Probably one of the most stable things you can do is an Apex Pros air conditioner tune-up.
Air conditioner tune-ups, you say?
Oh yeah, Apex Pros knows most expensive summer breakdowns can be prevented by getting a tune-up now.
Yes, it's known that a tuned-up AC lowers energy bills, which is important to...
Oh, this is unbelievable.
What, big sell-off? Huge increase?
No, I spilled coffee on my new shirt. Anyway, tune-up save on energy bills, plus make your air conditioner last years longer.
Good to know Apex Pros keeps things stable and predictable.
That's on my pants, too. This is the worst day. This is historic. You know that.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. And Rich and his team are ready to get you in a great new Honda this spring. Purchase or lease. He's going to make you feel awesome about your next vehicle and your experience. Grab a hold of this one, a 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport. Lease it for only $347 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles, and only $19.99 down. He's got rates as low as 2.9%. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, Joe Q. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. We've got day baseball in Ohio's Queen City. The Reds host the Cardinals in a doubleheader starting at 12:40. You can hear both games over on ESPN Columbus with coverage at 12:10. Game one's a makeup of last night's rainout. Cincinnati enters the day having won 5 in a row. As for the Guardians, Cleveland ended a 3-game slide last night after a 3-hour weather delay. Kyle Manzardo walked off on the Twins 2-1. Cleveland's going to host Minnesota tonight in Game 3 of their 4-game series. Over at Huntington Park, the Clippers will host the St. Paul Saints tonight at 6:35. In the NBA, the Cavaliers will play the Pacers in the Eastern Conference semifinals. That series will start on Sunday. Indiana advanced with a win over Milwaukee last night in Game 5. On the court tonight, a pair of Game 5s out west. The Warriors can eliminate the Rockets, while the Lakers look to stay alive, hosting the Timberwolves, down 3-1. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a First Friday. Get your appropriately timely, officially endorsed at the end of the hour. Time now for a little Hey Guys. Hit it, fellas.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag #HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations: Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
Yeah, best one here gets that $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank and the distillery tour and tasting for up to 10 people. Hit it, Reese.
All right, so we're taking questions at 971-BFS or in the YouTube chat. Just use the hashtag #HeyGuys so I can better locate those, especially as the YouTube chat keeps us scrolling. But we'll start on Twitter, and Michael could be in some trouble. He asks, "Hey guys, I fly home today. I land in Charlotte at 3:29 Eastern, and I'm supposed to board my flight back to Columbus at 3:31 Eastern. Should I be worried?"
Yeah, you're cooked. Now, as we can recall from my own spring break, I thought I was cooked, and the one lady at O'Hare decided to hold a plane. I don't know how they did it, if there was what the deal was, but they did. I guess what I need to know as a veteran air traveler was the 329, is that one of those ones where you've been delayed, and that's where it is now? Because I don't think the airline would let you book it that way. I don't think they'd let you book it with a 2-minute difference. So you've probably been delayed all morning, and my hunch is that by the time you land that other plane, it's not the start boarding that you're worried about. It's the boarding closed. And that's usually about 10 or 15 minutes before departure. That's the time you got to worry about. So there's a lot of variables in this. I haven't flown into Charlotte in a long time. It used to be pretty easy to navigate. But it just depends where you land, and it depends on if this is one of those fake arrival times or if it's a real one.
So Charlotte is one of my favorite airports, Bo. I always enjoy if I have a layover there. I wonder if, like you said, this is a delay situation, or if this is a touchdown, let people off, board more people, and he's on the same plane. Because he could possibly be on the same plane. He may not even have to get off of the plane here. So
good question.
I've had one of those before.
To this one. Yeah, there's a lot of variables to this one.
But I will say, I'm not worried about that stuff ever. A lot of times, as you guys know, because I'm usually traveling by myself, that one makes me a little worried.
I would also say, like Charlotte, you can drive home. All else. That's where I am with air travel. Can I just get to a place where I can drive home?
How much is that Uber bill?
It was going to be $1,500 from Chicago. I can tell you that when I looked into it. Yeah.
Dustin asks in the YouTube chat, and this is ambitious of Dustin. Hey, guys, I'm going to propose to my girlfriend very soon, but want to do it in a fun or unique way. Any ideas?
Don't.
Like, don't propose or don't do the fun, unique thing?
Marry the girl, but don't overthink it. This is the thing that you have to remember as a guy. We are not women. We don't know what they want. We don't have a clue. So... And oftentimes what you perceive them to want is some version of what you want. Do the opposite. So cool, unique. I think what you need to go for here, because I think what in my experience, what women want out of that and what my wife wanted, so I guess I'll generalize and apply it to most, and she was pleased with what I did. They want big romantic gesture. That's what they want, by and large. So go big romantic gesture. Be thoughtful, speak from the heart. Probably make sure that you know the answer is going to be yes before you start on all of this. But that would be my advice. Be authentic, be from the heart, be big romantic gesture. That usually wins.
Bo, I'm glad you clarified your very emphatic don't there. I thought you were giving my answer for a second. But I do like what G-Money99, loyal listener on the YouTube, said to Dustin. He said, make it personal to her, integrate what she loves would be my advice. And, you know, as someone who has never proposed to someone before, but has performed a wedding ceremony, I feel like I can talk about this a little bit. And that's what I would do. If there's something that you guys love to do together, or a place you love to go, or something like that, something that you know she really loves, try to incorporate that and make it special for her.
Kyle asks in the YouTube chat, hey guys, now that the warm weather is here and the pool parties are around the corner, I'm always asked to bring a side or an app. What's your go-to dish to bring to a pool party or a cookout?
I usually bring whiskey and beer.
Solid.
Yeah, I'm bottle and cans is what I do. You know, get yourself a couple bottles of High Bank, spread that around, and then I eat some Yellow Jackets, some garage beers. Everyone's excited to see those things roll in.
So I will say, I guess it depends on how we're doing. Like if it's just something quick and impromptu, a lot of times I'll just grab like some Wavy Lays and some Doritos and then bring my beverages of choice and we'll go. If I really have to make something, I kind of just go back on my staple for like a Super Bowl party type thing. If you give me like my buffalo chicken or those maple bacon smokies, winners.
Yeah, Jersey Mike's is usually pretty good if you want to just do a box of subs.
Box of subs is money.
Like
dude.
that
People
crushes it.
Too.
Yep.
Yeah, you're looking for a lunch. I think that's what you got to think about at a pool party situation is, what am I going to eat that I can eat? You're going to be eating on a paper plate more likely than not, around water, in the elements. It's got to be simple. It's got to be something it's got to be in your hand, no utensils. So that's the key, I think, to any of those.
And wings can get tricky depending, especially in Ohio, on the humidity.
I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. I think anything outside with wings, I go boneless. I go boneless.
Use a fork.
Yeah, on it, because wing, it's a mess, and you don't. So I go
you don't
boneless.
want that in the pool.
No.
Let me see if I can do this properly. President Bush asks on Twitter, hey guys, pick one to be your daily driver. General Lee, Smokey and the Bandit, Trans Am, DeLorean, Boss Hogg's Cadillac.
Oh, jeez. So it was Smokey. All right. So
that's Mount Rushmore of Hollywood cars.
These are my all-time favorites. I mean, several of these. If I was to do the Mount Rushmore of Hollywood cars, the only thing I would add is the Magnum PI Ferrari.
Oh, gosh.
I think the Bond Aston Martin has to be in the mix as well. But certainly the General Lee would be in there, and the Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am would be in there. I was not a big kit car guy. There was a guy who used to work at Channel 10 when I was there like a decade ago who had a kit car. He had one. And it even had like the red thing and in the front, like all of it. So there's, for me, the easy answer here is Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. Like, I just feel like if somebody who in their right mind who sees one of them coming down, the other one was DeLorean. I think those cars are pieces of junk by and large. There was a guy who lived by us in Grandview that had one that was always out in front of his car. I never saw it driven, ever. But to me, like the Smokey and the Bandit car, you see that coming down the road. Who doesn't smile? I'll tell you the one sleeper on this, and I've actually considered this. Boss Hogg's Cadillac would be a lot of fun.
Big horns on the front.
Yep. I even thought about, like, I wonder if I could mount Longhorns on the front of the Tesla and just put those suckers on there.
Could.
Yeah. I wonder how that, my kids probably wouldn't like it much because then I'd have to explain to them who Boss Hogg is. But yeah, that would feel like, I think of the ones he said, the Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am would be my answer.
So how have we not called Reese ever Magnum on this show because of the mustache?
So great.
Like, that seems pretty appropriate. Maybe Reese's new nickname is Magnum. But if I can't have the Fall Guys truck, I don't think I'm cool enough to pull off Boss Hogg's Cadillac. I never really liked the DeLorean. I'm not a big Trans Am guy. I did love Knight Rider, but I never loved Kit. I know it's not politically correct nowadays, but God, I loved the General Lee and the Dukes of Hazzard when I was a little kid growing up. So if I could get around town in the General Lee without getting my car egged all the time, I think that's what I'd like to have.
You'd be okay, I think. Although I do, here's the thing, like everything that he just mentioned there, I just think about this through my kids' eyes. We did this a couple of years ago. We talked about how certain things are becoming extinct. Do you remember this conversation, Reese?
Yeah.
About how like things that were important to me as a kid. So all of the things that we just mentioned were things that were important to me as a kid. All of those cars represent parts of my childhood. A great many of those things are extinct in the eyes of my kids. Mm-hmm. They have no point of reference. Now, I made them watch Smokey and the Bandit, loved it. So that one's got a chance going forward. But like they have no idea what the Dukes of Hazzard is. They have no idea what Knight Rider is. They have no idea what. Now they've seen Back to the Future. They love that. So that one's got a chance. But that's the other thing. And Magnum made a comeback, but I assume he drives a Ferrari, right? In the new Magnum?
Yeah, I think so.
Bo, that's something else. Cars used to be a central part of entertainment in movies and TV shows back in the day. Now, outside of the Fast and the Furious movies, I don't know if there's a car you could talk about.
I just think it was the cocaine. I think the cocaine in the 80s, it was like, hey, you go into a studio and you say, hey, we got an idea for your series. Well, what is it? Okay, it's these three Georgia cousins who go on adventures all day and allegedly moonshine. Oh, yeah? Well, who's in it? Doesn't matter. Who are the bad guys? Rich old guy and his crooked, nephew cop. That's the bad. Okay, so what's it? Well, yeah, but we got a 1970 Dodge Charger. Can I interest you in that? Yep, greenlit. Think of it. You just did Fall Guy. What is the premise of Fall Guy? He's a stuntman who solves crime. But he had a cool pickup and Heather Thomas, come on.
God, I loved that brown truck when I was a little kid.
I thought you were going to say you loved Heather Thomas, and I was going to say,
wow.
Yeah, my brother got I had the General Lee, like die-cast General Lee that you could drive, and
absolutely.
Then he had the Fall Guy pickup truck. Even Magnum PI, he's living with a rich guy. Like, what is the market where you could have a Ferrari and just drive around Hawaii? I'll do that now. Solve crime in Hawaii? How serious could it be? Drive a Ferrari, stay at a rich guy's house? Done. Tomorrow I do that.
Bo, our good buddy Mike Todd just texted and said, Crockett's Ferrari Spider from Miami Vice.
That's a cheat code. So there were two of them. There was a black convertible originally, and then there was a white Testarossa that they came out with a little bit later. The white Testarossa got a lot of love, but I actually like the black convertible Ferrari a little bit more. By the way, is that something that's real? That if you're undercover in Miami, the cover car is a Ferrari?
Why not?
Who's paying for this? Again, Greenland.
Taxpayer.
Guys, it's Miami. Everything goes.
That's a good one.
We do have to pick a winner, but
it's that one.
It's President Bush.
Yeah.
Bush.
Yeah, that's
all right.
A good one.
And we probably won't be able to answer this now, but Vance has a really good question on Twitter. Hey, guys, I'm taking the boy to his first live sporting event today at Huntington Park. Clippers play the St. Paul Saints. Mm-hmm. What is your first memory of live sports when you were growing up?
All right, we will share that. We will share that. And it was President Bush who's gonna clean up. You're gonna get the distillery tour, the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. Of course, you're talking about High Bank. You're talking about the best blended whiskey in America. 3 years running, their bourbon is on the shelves now. It's unbelievable. Stop by High Bank's 3 locations: Grandview, Gahanna, and Westerville. Enjoy those award-winning spirits for your next happy hour. So we'll answer that question. We will also hear from Joe Thomas on which Brown asked to wear his number and what his response was to that. That is coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy Hatcher, a former professional baseball player, and I'm a patient at Tri-State Men's Health. Before I started the treatment, it was like my body was sore all the time, and I was feeling very, very sluggish. One day, I would be full of energy, and the next day was like, where did all my energy go? And since I've started, my body hasn't felt this good in a long time. I feel like, I'm not 21 to 25 again. It's just been great. I feel very, very comfortable coming here. When you have the energy, it's amazing. You get to do so many other things that you couldn't do prior to that. If you're tired of hurting in the mornings, you want to improve your health, you want to feel better, give a call to Tri-State Men's Health. I promise you, you will feel better.
Thanks, Billy. It's true. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And now through May 31st, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now at Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom! That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
we can be twinsies
to
how was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Hello, radio listeners. The Fan is debuting a new lineup on May 12th. T-Bone and Tyvus hitting leadoff at 6. Bishop and Friends stays at 9. That's not new. Rothman and Ice at noon. You already knew that. Common Man and Timmy at 3. That's slightly different. Even more inappropriate, if that's possible. And Beamer is the new host of The Buckeye Show. You're welcome. Or we're sorry. Pick one. Get all the details at 971thefan.com.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Tomorrow.
Every Ohio student, no matter where they're from, what they look like, or how much money their parents make, deserves a world-class public education that empowers them to reach their full potential. That's why we need our lawmakers to fully and fairly fund our public schools in this state budget. Call your state senator today.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Have you ever told a friend?
Oh, I'm fine.
When you really felt?
Just so overwhelmed.
Or sent a text?
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
When you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A mostly quiet Wednesday after a stormy Tuesday as we head through the day. Temperatures make their way to the 70s this afternoon with plenty of sunshine. We could see a stray shower push through, but that would be about it. Unfortunately, though, more strong storms return as we head into Thursday. That's going to prompt another 10 TV Weather Impact Alert Day, so make sure you're staying weather aware. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Producers, co-hosts, friends. Some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what was the hey guys question you had there that we wanted to get to?
So Vance had asked on Twitter, because he's taking his son to his first sporting event tonight. The Clippers are playing the St. Paul Saints around 6:30. He asked us about our first sporting memories with our parents.
It would have been the Harlem Globetrotters for me, in terms of like other than like high school, because we didn't have. I mean, obviously there's no pro sports, so my parents took us to the Harlem Globetrotters in at Four Seasons Arena in Great Falls, Montana. I would say I was probably 8 or 9. And I remember just being in awe of it. Like the coolest thing ever. Like just couldn't believe it. Just never seen anything like it. And they meant so much to me as a kid because they would show up on Scooby-Doo. I don't know why, but they would show up on the Scooby-Doo cartoon.
Well, someone's got to help them solve those mysteries.
Someone's got to solve the mysteries.
Can't be the dog and the stoner buddy.
Yeah. It was like Meadowlark Lemon and Curly Neal would show up on Scooby-Doo cartoons. So, like, I just knew them through that. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So, yeah, I remember that vividly. And then I remember going to Great Falls Dodgers games as a kid. Like, I remember seeing Pedro Martinez in rookie ball with the Dodgers, Eric Karras and some of those guys. And so I do remember that. But the first one I remember bigly was Harlem Globetrotters.
So for me, the first sports memories that I have, they're actually really fuzzy. I remember going to Grove City High School football games when I was real little, and them throwing out the footballs and the Greyhound running on the field. I remember going to an OSU basketball game, and for some reason, I feel like this was an NIT game, but don't quote me on that. But I believe they played Old Dominion at St. John Arena, and I remember that. And again, it's one of those things where I was so little, like I think I was 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there in both of those, that I don't have vivid memories of them, but I remember them. I remember going to a lot of Columbus Clippers games back in the day at Cooper Stadium, getting the plastic glove that would always rip after you caught like 2 baseballs with it. But this one I remember a lot. I remember we were driving. If you got good grades in elementary school, you could get tickets to Reds games. So I remember my dad and I, it was 3rd grade, driving down to a Reds game. We had an old diesel station wagon, and that thing broke down somewhere around Mason, and we had to get a tow truck, and it towed us back, and we didn't get to go to the game. And I remember the Reds got down big in that game. We were driving back listening in the tow truck, and I remember my dad saying, well, I guess it's a good thing we didn't go since they're getting beat. And I remember telling my dad, oh, it's okay. Eric Davis will hit a grand slam and they'll come back and win. And I remember walking downstairs the next morning and my dad saying, oh my gosh, he was right. And Eric Davis actually hit a grand slam in that game, and the Reds came back and won. And here we didn't get to because the car broke down.
That sucks.
Yeah, I remember a lot of games at old Cooper Stadium growing up. I also remember Columbus Chill games at the old Ohio Expo Center.
Those were great.
That was one of my first memories. I remember this vividly when they would throw out pizza, like they'd have people skate on the rink during intermissions, and they'd throw out boxes of pizza. And I, for the longest time, thought there was actual pizza in there before I caught one, and I opened it up, and there was no pizza.
Yeah.
And it was a coupon.
You'd really love to have that pizza.
Yes, then and there, as like a 7 or 8 year old. Like, I want the pizza. Like, I don't need this coupon. Does me nothing.
No, I don't want that. Give me
It was heartbreaking.
Right now. We were talking about some of the one of the YouTubers had the question on the fictional cars, Hollywood cars. Justin tweeted me a picture. Bake, there's a chance you know this reference. I don't think that there's no chance that Reese does. But if you watch The Fall Guy, I'm pretty sure this was on in vicinity of The Fall Guy when I was a kid. Hardcastle and McCormick.
I remember the name, but I don't remember anything about it.
So I believe the premise was man does bad, is in front of a judge who has some sort of connection to the man who does bad, and instead of sentencing him to jail, sentences him to essentially work for him, and then he has a vehicle called a Coyote.
There was one in the YouTube chat that said, still take McCormick's Coyote.
Which is it's a made-up car. Like it's, yeah, the theme song of it is great. The intro for it is very, very good and worthy of a watch. That's the other thing. They always did those great in the 80s. Like a lot of good theme songs that hold on forever. This was interesting. This was on a program that Tyvus is on frequently called the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And it was Joe Thomas, Browns Hall of Famer, the Great Hoff. And he was asked about, the reason this came up is that the Abdul Carter had asked the Giants if he could wear number 56, and then asked Lawrence Taylor if he could wear 56 for the Giants. And Lawrence Taylor said, no, you can't have it. So the Hoff apparently had a similar experience, and he retold that experience to the fellows on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
So when Jed Wills got drafted, I was kind of helping him around, and it was during COVID, and he asked me for my number, and I was a little caught off guard, but I'm like, hey, if everybody in the building okay with it, I wasn't going to be like, no, it's my number. Leave me alone. But Kevin Stefanski stepped in, and he was like, hey, pump the brakes, big boy.
Yeah,
you got to do a few things to put some pump on the wall in the NFL before you have his number.
That is a great story. I've never heard it.
Hope that Lawrence doesn't have to be the bad guy, and that Brian Dable steps in and is like, okay, why don't you have a sack in the NFL before you get
right.
So that's a great job of Joe retelling that story. And obviously Jed Wills isn't even in the NFL right now, so that would have been kind of a waste of giving him number 73. I do think that we are to the point where, and I hate giving them credit for anything, but I think Michigan did this right when they would bring back the retired jerseys with the patch. I think that's kind of where we need to get to now. You think about the Yankees, like no one's worn 3 in 100 years. No one's worn 4 in. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody, when you hear Lou Gehrig, you don't just think of the god awful disease, but there's also a recollection of the player. And if all of a sudden you issued number 4 and it had Lou Gehrig on the jersey as a patch, isn't that a win? That to me feels like a win, because then you have to have that conversation. I think about that with the Browns with like 32, like issue 32 and put Jim Brown's likeness, a small likeness on the jersey. And then some kid will say, well, Dad, who was Jim Brown? You can explain. He's maybe the greatest player ever. I think we're losing a little bit with the history when we retire these numbers, and they can't be revisited because there's several generations that are never going to know who any of these people are. Like, does any little kid know who Joe DiMaggio is? How would they?
And to that point, with like teams do their Ring of Honors or they do their Hall of Fames, and those like physical locations are up in buildings. How often, as parents, are you taking your kids through that during a game? Or are you trying to get into the game, trying to get at concessions, trying to get to your seats, trying to navigate the bathroom, navigate all of that? Does that leave time to go and appreciate those types of things?
Yeah. No, I think Michigan is. I hate giving them credit, but I think they're actually doing this right. The Steelers have a lot of retired jerseys. Brooke Pryor covers the Steelers at ESPN, the best in the business. We'll get a read, and I'm going to give her my theory on Aaron Rodgers. We'll see how she responds to that. That's in 2 minutes. We'll ask her about Jack and Will as well and their chances. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Common Man here for Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Guess what? It's driving season, friends, and my friends at Germain Lexus are ready for you with their most popular models on the lot and ready to go with special initial APRs as low as 3.99%, up to 48 months, or 4.49%, up to 60 months with low lease payments starting at $389 per month on the 2025 NX. And if you're looking for a TX, they're finally available for immediate delivery. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Before you start your day, UDF has already started baking your breakfast. We're making biscuits and croissants in our bakery served with sausage, egg, and cheese before you hit your first alarm. Fresh baked breakfast sandwiches from United Dairy Farmers. UDF, mornings made for you.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Beds are us. When dreams don't get in, beds are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Beds are us. When dreams don't get in, beds are us.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
Well, when you talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, you want to do it with Brooke Pryor of ESPN. She's the best in the business, and we're fortunate enough that she joins us now on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Brooke, I've had a theory. We thank you so much for your time. I've had a theory here that I'm just going to throw at you from 30,000 feet, your boots on the ground, very, very different. My theory is they know that Rodgers is going to be a Steeler and that they've known for a while. Do you buy into that theory at all?
I mean, I hope that's what's going on, because otherwise the cupboard's pretty bare. Right. I will say, though, the other part of a theory that I have, and it's not just a theory, it's something that I've been reporting on, but believe it or not, this team does feel really confident in Mason Rudolph. And I have been told from people in the building that they really do. Not only does the coaching staff buy into him, but the guys in the locker room really like Mason Rudolph. I think he earned a lot of credibility with this offense, the way that he finished out the 2023 season. If you remember, that was the Mitch Trubisky, the Kenny Pickett. Mm-hmm. Kenny Pickett gets hurt. It just all fell apart, and Mason Rudolph kind of got to be the guy to come in there and salvage the season and get them to the playoffs. So I do think that he has a lot of cachet built up in the organization, but I do think that the undercurrent of all of this is, don't worry, Aaron Rodgers is on the way, which is, I think, a very scary thing to gamble on, because no one really knows what Aaron Rodgers is thinking other than Aaron Rodgers and maybe like the Dolphins swimming in front of his Malibu house.
Well, that's just it. I mean, it's such an un-Steelers thing to do, to be in this spot. And I guess that's why I think they know, because it just seems like with an organization that has been so smart with everything for its entire really modern history, really leave it. And maybe they do feel the way that you're saying about maybe that is the real truth, that they really like Mason Rudolph and think worst case scenario, we can roll with him. But in a division that has Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, and on a team that acquired DK Metcalf, it just feels to me like they must have some sort of lean. What is the fan base? Did the fan base want Rodgers?
I think the fan base is so confused, and they don't know what to want at this point, because I feel like the sentiment I got when it came out that Aaron Rodgers was interested, when he visited, was no, we don't want Aaron Rodgers. This is going to be a disaster. And now the longer it's taken for him to sign, the more it's like, I mean, if without Aaron Rodgers, what chance do the Steelers have? Especially now that the draft has come and gone, and it kind of feels like the Steelers and Rodgers have dragged this out so long that now the fan base is saying, like, please will Aaron Rodgers come here and save us from, this incomplete quarterback room. But that is not the sense that I was picking up from the fans 2 months ago. So, I mean, I think that this is a fan base that knows that they're kind of out of options. I mean, once Justin Fields elected to go to the Jets, it kind of became very obvious that this was going to be they were going to have to just paper together a quarterback room for a year and try to get to 2026. I do give this organization a lot of credit for not drafting a quarterback in the first round, for not trading away assets to get a guy that they're not completely sold on can be the future of this team, because to me, I think that the Kenny Pickett situation was a real clear, obvious example of you can do all your homework on a guy, but if you reach for someone and it doesn't work out, you can really set the organization back. So they were at least disciplined and said, you know what, we don't feel 100% about a high pick quarterback. We'll get Will Howard in the 6th round, but we're going to patch up all the other holes and then address quarterback, which is a kind of wild sentence to say, that we'll worry about the most important position last. But again, I think that speaks to they feel good about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Brooke, you mentioned Pickett there, and I feel like the Browns kind of think that he could maybe be their Darnold, Geno, heck, Baker reclamation project, right? Like, he's been around, and now we get him here. It fits in our offense. You were front row seat for everything that Kenny Pickett was and was not in Pittsburgh. What do you make of that there is a thinking that potentially he could be a long-term solution in Cleveland? You were front row seat for the start of his career.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that is out of the question by any means. I mean, Kenny Pickett had a lot of flaws that were on display in Pittsburgh. His kind of lack of feel for the pocket, running into pressure, things like that were very obvious. But I do think that he was put in a really difficult position from the jump. I think that when the organization drafted him in the first round, he's a kid that went to Pitt, that was a Pitt hero for a lot of his career, or at least the end of his career at the hometown team. He comes in with these super high expectations, is drafted higher than he should have been, or higher than he would have been in a stronger quarterback class. And not only that, but then when he finally became the starter, it was a really haphazard situation. I mean, they went into the year with Mitch Trubisky as the starter, even though there was allegedly an open quarterback competition. I can tell you from the rep distribution at training camp, Kenny Pickett was not getting a lot of work, if any work, with the first team offense. So when he's finally thrown in at halftime of week 4, he's really green. And I think that it was just a bad situation all the way around. They held on to Matt Canada too long. Now you have him getting fired in the middle of the season. Pickett gets hurt. It was just mishandled. And so I think that he was put in a really tough situation. Because of that, I think that he still has an opportunity to grow and to fit in an offense and to be that reclamation project. But he's got to be surrounded with a good support system and good coaching staffs that can work on some of those deficiencies, that can work on his feel and his timing and not rolling into pressure, things like that I think can be corrected if he's in the right set of circumstances.
Talking to the great Brooke Pryor, covers the Steelers at ESPN and joins us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Stay in the quarterback room. You got our guy. You got Will Howard. He's in the 6th round. You're going to love him to cover him, by the way. I don't know if you've had a chance to talk to him yet, but he is everything that you'd want in terms of quarterback central casting. He checks all those boxes, but he's a 6th round pick. But this is a room that would seem to be a nice landing spot. What do you think the organization thinks of Howard, and what do you think their plan for him will be?
Yeah, I think that it was a great value pick to get in the 6th round. Again, that's credit to the organization for being patient and waiting until the right time to get a quarterback to maximize the value of that pick. And I think that Will Howard, like you said, checks a lot of boxes. And when I look at how the Steelers like to draft, they like to get guys from big power conferences, from national championship teams. Obviously, he checks that box. To me, he really fits the mold as far as stature and somewhat similar playing style to Aaron Rodgers and Mason Rudolph, just in terms of he's not a wildly different style of quarterback the way last year that Russell Wilson and Justin Fields were, that they had to kind of change and tailor the offense for each guy. You know, Fields is much more of a runner than Wilson is, and that's something that Art Rooney said in his season-ending news conference, that they want a quarterback room of a similar skill set, so they're not having to completely change things on the fly. And I think, too, that Will Howard, to me, feels like a very low drama guy. He's what you want in a backup or in a developing type quarterback, that he's not going to command all of the attention and be kind of a sideshow. And the Steelers as an organization kind of rejects the idea of distractions, but let's face it, that could easily be a distraction if they had drafted Shedeur Sanders while they're still trying to figure out Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff. It would be a circus. And I think that Will Howard, to me, projects he's still a developmental guy, but he has the track record, the winning a national championship pedigree. He can be a game manager, and knowing the Steelers and what they've been able to accomplish in previous seasons, sometimes that's all this offense needs. It's not necessarily going to win a Super Bowl, but it's going to get them to the playoffs if they can, and keep them above 500. If they can do that in a season with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges. Didn't get to the playoffs, but they did stay 500.
Yeah,
obviously, Will Howard can certainly do that too.
Yeah, certainly can. I think the Tannehill stuff is there too for Smith on the offense for Will. I think there's some parallels that they'll like there. I said this as soon as Ohio State won the national championship. Jack Sawyer is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I didn't know the draft. It's just out of central casting. You're going to love him too. In terms of why are they so good at getting these guys in these mid rounds? And it just feels like to me, Jack Sawyer is going to be a 10-sack guy in the next 3 years with the Steelers. But there must be something in the plan where they draft these guys and they develop them, and then they turn in and they get the maximum out of them, especially at that position, Brooke.
Yeah, they are so good at that. And I think it's because they have a really clear definition of what they want out of a Steelers outside linebacker, out of Steelers defensive players in particular, but in particular that position. And I think that they're also an organization that's not afraid to draft for value and not necessarily positional need. Because if you look at where they took Jack Sawyer, I was surprised. I didn't have outside linebacker on my list of needs when you've got TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig. You kind of already have an embarrassment of riches. Adding Jack Sawyer, though, to me, almost represents what I wish they would have done with the quarterback position when Ben was still playing, that you're not drafting for what you need right now. You're starting to draft for the future. Why not get Jack Sawyer in here, who's already such a good player, and have him learn from TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith and learn alongside Nick Herbig while TJ Watt is at the prime, if not starting to kind of crest that hill of his career. And now you've kind of firmly established this pipeline. I think it was a great pick. And, I mean, I sounded like Will Howard is thrilled that they are best friends. So I love that for them.
Yeah, that's going to be. Brooke, if I'm not mistaken, you're a North Carolina alumni, right?
I sure am.
What do you make of your football coach at North Carolina? Bit of a curveball off the end. I'll get you out of here on that one.
I will tell you this, that watching the Jordan Hudson involvement with Bill Belichick, it's starting to make me root against my own alma mater. And let me tell you, if I could find a way to support them through the Larry Fedora years, and this is now what's driving me away from that, it's impressive by her. I never in a million years thought that there would be a 24-year-old woman in charge of my alma mater's football team. But here we are. It's a shame that Hard Knocks fell apart because that would be fascinating. I love reality TV. I love UNC. That's a match made in heaven. But at least now, I am saved that embarrassment. So there's that.
You could sleep well at night knowing that you get to wear the most beautiful shade of blue on a regular basis. So you get that.
That's
so
true.
I guess this is the penalty for it.
It's a small consolation.
It is. Brooke, it is great talking to you. I know your time is valuable. Thank you for giving us a little bit of it today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, there she goes. Brooke Pryor with the Steelers at ESPN on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. You're officially endorsed on this fine First Friday, and three things coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to lifesearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit lifesearch.com today.
Your home is more than just four walls and a roof. It's where life happens, where memories are made, where family gathers, and where you should feel safe. At Newman Roofing, we know that when it's time for a new roof, you want to feel confident that you've hired the right company, one that will install a quality roof and complete the work as promised. But with so many roofing companies out there, how do you know which one to trust? For over 30 years, Newman Roofing has helped more than 7,500 families protect their homes with quality roofing, gutters, and siding. We believe you deserve a company that provides a white glove customer experience, one that pays attention to every detail and treats your home like it's our own. At Newman Roofing, we're not just another roofing company. We're a family-built business that stands behind our work. So when it's time to replace your roof, don't settle for uncertainty. Choose the local family with a reputation for excellence. Choose the company you can trust. Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit us online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
Hi, Reese. What are you on the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll sponsored by Caster Connection, and it asks which AFC North team has the best chance of hitting the over in their over-under win totals for the 2025 season. Ravens at 11.5, Bengals 9.5, Steelers 8.5, Browns 4.5. 39% of respondents to the Daily Fan Pool, sponsored by Caster Connection, say the Browns at 4.5 have the best chance of hitting that over. 36% say the Bengals at 9.5 have the best chance to hit the 9.5. 18% for the Steelers and 6% for the Ravens, and that 11.5.
I mean, that's a whole segment. I agree on the Browns side of it. I mean, they are 2 games better than they were a year ago, just with what they've done at quarterback and what they did in the draft. So, and the fact that they're going to play a 4th-place schedule. So the schedule will be easier. The talent's better. Kevin Stefanski's 2-time Coach of the Year. I don't think they're going 3-14 again. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to go 10-7, but I could see them going 6-11 or 7-9, something like that, or 7-10, something like that would make sense. And Cincinnati, if Cincinnati doesn't win 10 games, then I think that's Zach. Door, butt, out.
Exactly what I was thinking.
They got to win 11 games.
I mean, come on, this is a lock, right? Tomlin's never gone under 500 in his career. There's no way the Steelers don't win 9.
They don't have what did you guys make of Brooke saying that? Like, do you believe that they really believe in Mason Rudolph?
That was insane to hear her say that.
I do think that way, though. They love that guy.
They do. They do. They love him. There's no. That's what when Will went there, I thought, God, worst case scenario, you could be their new Mason Rudolph.
No, he could beat out Will. Could usurp Mason Rudolph if Mason Rudolph's QB1 in Pittsburgh.
He took a helmet to the head for him.
He did, but their loyalty to him is just never ending. All right, time for your officially endorsed. Hit it, guys.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday, officially endorsed, because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
You drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good, because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar, because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
It's my probably my favorite one-off sporting event on the calendar. It is the Kentucky Derby. It is this Saturday. It is in Louisville. My advice, if you have the chance to go, is either be one of the haves or be one of the have-nots. Don't be middle class. Middle class is tough at the Derby. The wealthy people have it really good, and the folks in the infield have it really good. Everybody else, you're kind of just in the middle. But what isn't in the middle is the mint julep. Now, the mint julep is a refreshing delight. The first thing you're going to need here, and I'm pretty sure they still sell this, is you're going to need a sack of Sonic Ice. You're going to need some chewy ice, because that's the key to this thing, is you're going to have some chewy ice. So you got to get yourself one of those. You put some of that ice, you put it in a highball glass. You want it filled up with ice. Okay? You are going to need 4 mint leaves. You're going to need a teaspoon of powdered sugar. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of water. So you put all of those things in the bottom of the glass before you put the ice in. You kind of muddle that all up together so you get kind of a minty paste. Then 2 ounces of Woodford on top. You spin that around, fill it with ice, and away you go. The mint julep is a delight. It's refreshing. It's crisp. Far better than I ever anticipated it would be, and good enough certainly for your officially endorsed on the first Friday before the Kentucky Derby. Time for 3 things. Hit it, guys.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
All right, number 1 for me. So I saw this video going around of Will Howard on Hey Rookie that the NFL Films folks put out. And I'm watching him interact with his parents and his siblings and his dog and all of it. And I watched him interact here for a year. He was only here a year. I think Will Howard is one of the most likable Ohio State Buckeyes of all time. What's not to like? Great leader, incredible interpersonal skills, really good clutch player, but man, is he likable. Just an easy guy to root for. Good job out of him. We're very lucky we all crossed paths and it manifested the way it did.
First thing for me also has to do with the Kentucky Derby. The 151st running is going to happen on Saturday. Bob Baffert's back from a 3-year suspension. He's going to actually be doing a sit-down interview with Mike Tirico on their pregame coverage or their pre-race coverage on NBC. Baffert's got a horse in the race this year. Citizen Bull is 20-1 to win the thing. Journalism is the current favorite at 3-1.
I like the Baffert.
Baffert's got a horse, 20-1. No way, I'm not putting money on that.
But that Baffert interview is going to be hilarious to watch.
Well, how are they? Are you really going to hold his feet to the fire on it? For those who don't know, like he was, juicing horses.
First thing for me, big get for Kevin McGuff yesterday out of the transfer portal. Kylie Kitts, a top 25 overall prospect in the 2025 class before she reclassified to 24, is transferring to the Buckeyes after 1 year at Florida. She redshirted last year, so she has 4 years of eligibility at Ohio State. She's the younger sister of South Carolina's star Chloe Kitts. She's listed as a guard/forward, but she's 6'4", so Kitts will bring plenty of size and athleticism to that Buckeye front court. We know they've been needing it big for a while.
All right, number 2 for me, I have heard back from the Urban Coyote expert.
Oh, boy.
And it sounds like tomorrow's going to be the day.
Yes.
Yeah, he's locked in, professor at Ohio State. Locked. I think we're going to get a time. We're going to make it work. So you're going to get the full breakdown of Coyote Gate tomorrow.
Season 4 of The Bear is going to be released on June 15th. That's the FX show that you can find on Hulu. Would recommend it wholeheartedly. It's a comedy. It's supposed to be, but it's extremely dark. The show's showrunner revealed the date earlier this week in an LA premiere of Thunderbolts. This was Joanna Callow, also said of season 4, quote, "It's beautiful. There's a lot of joy this season, and I think you're going to be happy. That's all. It's not one of the meaner ones," end quote.
How was the third? I watched the first 2 and loved it, and then I never had the urge to watch the third season. Was it as good as the 1 and 2?
I think so.
Okay, all right.
I think it holds up.
It's in the background that I always have it out there because I thought the first 2 were really good, but and I think it's some of the best television I've seen in the last 5 years. But at no point is it a comedy. So every time it comes up for like Emmy or Golden Globe, like, this is a comedy. I'm like, it's a half hour. That's about the only thing.
Second thing for me, there's a video making its way around social media of Eli Manning and his 2 daughters sitting on the glass at a New Jersey Devils game. And it's a really cool video because it reminds you that athletes are humans and fans too. And also that their kids think that they're nerds just like everybody else's kid thinks their parent is nerds. There's one time when his one daughter just stares at him with a blank look, like, really, Dad? But also, Eli, bad job out of you. You can't look to both of your daughters and say your one job is when the puck hits the glass, you can't flinch, and then it hits the glass and you drop to the floor like gunshots are going off. Bad job out of you, Eli.
Also, collectively, our third for all of us. So he played for the Giants. He continues to live in Jersey, in the vicinity of New York City. Devils fan. Like David Putty. I did not have that. I thought for sure that he would go Rangers. No. Devils it is. The rare Giants-Devils mix. Go ahead, Reese.
I wondered if he had befriended some Devils players while he was playing with the Giants and they would just party together. Real quick, an end of an era. A hell of a run for Common Man and T-Bone. Today will be their final show of the 2 from 3 to 6.
Yeah, that's they've done a great job with that over the last week or so you have that to look forward to, which is nice. Rothman and Ice coming up next. Enjoy your first Friday. Act accordingly. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place. Leslie, what's that hot lamp against your window for?
Pella windows are tested up to 160 degrees Wilson to ensure efficiency and the lowest energy bills possible, even in the craziest of temperatures. Put your hand on there.
All right. God, that's hot.
On the window, Wilson.
Oh, hey, that is quite nice and cool. So I'm going to go grab some ice now.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rated #1 for innovation at PellaColumbus.com.
Get eco.
ECO. Aaron, I love that we fix ACs for free.
I don't think we do that, Jerry.
Get eco.
ECO. Stay with me, Aaron. I'm going to explain to you how it works.
You're going to explain to me how my own invention works?
Get eco.
ECO. Step 1. Some other HVAC company tells a customer that they need a whole new system.
Yes.
And then they call us.
They can always call us, Jerry.
Get eco.
ECO. And then we repair their system for free.
No, then they pay us.
But we give the money back, right?
We give them back all the money they paid us to fix their old system when they finally do need a new one.
Up to $1,500, right?
Right.
Aaron, we're fixing HVAC systems for free.
Get eco.
ECO.
We extend the life of their system.
That's right.
Those extra years are free. On me.
Get eco.
ECO. Eco. Plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Guys, what's up? It's Matty Ice, and I'm here with Wendy's. And if you're looking for your next sandwich love, check out the Cajun Crunch Chicken Sandwich. This sandwich really has me feeling the heat, and it's packed with bold Cajun flavors that add that perfect little kick. Plus, it's topped with crispy onions that give it a satisfying crunch in every single bite. And did I mention this is all on top of Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich? So if you love that, you have to get your hands on this Cajun Crunch Chicken Sandwich before it's gone. For that little extra kick, it's got to be Wendy's. Open until midnight or later.
Congratulations, you're having a little girl.
At that moment, everything changed. Our hopes and dreams for ourselves were instantly replaced by our hopes and dreams for her. We got life insurance policies from Shelter Insurance, so that regardless of what life throws at us, we'll still be able to provide the world to her.
Visit shelterinsurance.com to find an agent to help you pick a policy that's right for you. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats.